from Davao.
Uy, Davao represent the pride of Davao here in Manila. Basta super to everybody who's not familiar with my guest. He is one of the most amazing artists that I've met. And yung mga ginawa niya is really parang bilib na bilib ako sa gusto ko nga sana ay ano ba ikaw yung una kong target na na maging guest talaga dito sa podcast na to. Pero mamaya natin
Ngayon lang tayo natuloy.
No, 'di ba 'yun yung 'di ba 'yun yung unang plano? Dapat diyan
Correct.
pa sa 'di
At
ba?
saka pinaplano mo pa lang yung podcast mo dati, di ba?
Oo, 'di ba?
Ginamit mo sa akin. Tapos ngayon,
Oo.
eto na.
Oo nga.
Congrats, Gerald. Congrats.
Almost 2 years later at isang pandemic na malupit bago natuloy. Join the conversation. And also, this podcast is dedicated to all the frontliners fighting for us.
Thank
Um,
you, mga frontliners.
this is dedicated to everybody who's fighting and sacrificing their own health, and even to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Our gratitude is kumbaga hindi namin kayang i-express. Okay. So help us share the podcast. We'll be talking about art, classical art, painting, the art scene at ang mga masterpiece ni Master Alfred Galvez. Na-share niyo na ba? Share niyo sa mga art groups, Alfred. Oy, ano
Yep.
nangyayari? Yan, nakikita na ako. Okay, so before we go live, before we get Alfred in. Ay, teka, may ano. Okay. Okay, so
Okay na sound?
okay naman. Medyo maingay lang pag may gumagalaw siguro, parang ganun. So, okay.
Narinig.
Yun, umiingay pag ganun. Wag muna kayong masyadong maggalaw.
Okay, game.
Oh, game. All right. Okay,
So,
so
congrats, Gerald, again for this successful podcast. 2 years, no?
oh.
2 years.
Thank you. Congrats din sa'yo. Pero right now, let's just pay our homage to some kanina may nakita akong mga na mga doctors, mga medical professionals na naging biktima ng COVID-19. Like I said earlier, this all of my episodes during the lockdown are dedicated to you and to everyone else who's fighting for the Philippines, for Filipinos, and practically for the entire world, 'di ba? Buong mundo laban ng humanity itong nangyari sa itong nangyayari sa COVID-19. So thank you, Dr. Raul Jara. These are doctors who has fallen to to Dr. Raul Jara, to Dr. Rose Polido, Dr. Israel Bactol, Dr. Greg Makasaet, Dr. Marcelo How Chico, I don't know, baka nadagdagan pa to, hindi ko alam, and others who are not listed here. We our sincere gratitude and thank you for the ultimate sacrifice, and thank you for the dedication to us, to your profession, and to the safety of our country. And yun. And also, if you want to help out, I found somebody gave me a link of a Google Docs link. I put it in the description. may mga somebody just passed this on and maybe it could help. I don't really know yung mga ano kasi parang may this I don't know, maybe this may mga organizations dito na pwede niyong tulungan. It is an option for us who are not in the front lines right now. Okay, so again, salute to the to our fellow to our countrymen who are sacrificing their own safety for the all of us. Okay? And yun. So let's go to the OBB. Then we're gonna start. We'll have Alfred Galvez in. All right? All right. Welcome to the Powerful Comicsman podcast. This is episode 81 of the Powerful Comicsman podcast with the man, Alfred Galvez. What's up, man? Oh, kita ka na nila.
Okay. Kala ko
Okay.
kanina.
Okay, so
Basta.
Alfred is like I said, dun sa poster is a classical painter, classically trained, 'di ba? Fine UP Fine Arts ka, 'di ba? And
Yeah, UP Fine Arts. Yeah. Tapos, well, classical realism yung tinuturo kasi namin dito sa workshop school
yun.
namin. Yeah.
So he is also parang he is the owner of ano na bang pangalan ngayon nung ano nyo? Galvez Atelier ba
Murals.
ata?
Galvez Atelier. Yeah.
Galvez
For
Atelier.
the workshops. Yeah.
Mm.
Art workshop.
And then yung murals,
Mikra.
Mikra murals, 'di ba?
Murals. Yes.
So,
Yes.
doon pa lang, well, yung Galvez Atelier, it is one of the coolest place that I've ever seen for an artist. Kumbaga parang ano parang artist paradise yung ano pag pumunta ka sa studio ni Alves tuloy. Alfred. Anyway, so
Yeah.
can you paano natin umpisan? Umpisan muna natin yung classical painting siguro, 'di ba? Yung
Yeah.
your start,
Yung
your
Atelier.
beginnings as a painter, yun. Tapos paano ka napadpad dun sa classical painting? Okay.
Okay. Well, kasi, pareho naman tayo nag-UP Fine Arts, di ba? And then after that, well, Viscom actually. Viscom ka, di ba, Gerald?
Hindi ako UP.
Ay,
Hindi
ito
ako
UP.
Hindi ako UP.
Mababakla naman sa UP.
Oh,
Dito pa sa... Hindi, pero I mean, Viscom and then, well, graduate. Well, actually, Viscom ako and then, well, decided to do mostly kasi pag Viscom ka, you're nasa market, market driven ng art for the service of commercial, So, anyway, well, first, actually, the murals business was actually set up. Yun muna before the workshop.
Okay.
Yung Galvez Atelier. Nauna actually yung murals. Because what happened there is, well, nung college, racket ng murals. Kaming mga magkakasama sa fine arts. And then hanggang sa I decided to make it like to focus on it, no? So yeah, we started murals, and then after that, um, in year 2000, just recently, I don't know, mga 2013, I think, we decided to put up, to get a big studio. So
Okay.
actually, yung studio na yon, well, to pay up also for rent. So
Mhm.
ang ginawa namin siyang workshop. So uh, hence the word atelier, meaning um, where the artist is where the student will learn. So ganun ang meaning ng atelier.
Okay.
So originally this is a studio. So tapos nagpasok na kami ng mga estudyante. And then
Yun.
studying the market ng workshops, mostly kasi sa workshops dito is more on the creative side, no? Meaning they teach you to explore materials, they teach you to develop creative ideas, no? So ang ginawa namin is binaliktad namin. So we decided to go technical. So
Mm.
meaning leave your creativity behind when you step
Yun.
inside the door, and then you learn the fundamentals of drawing and painting, the basics, no?
Mhm.
So very technical siya. And then after the workshop, you can bring your creativity again, but you are more equipped. Kumbaga, mas equipped ka as an artist. Yes,
Ah,
thus the classical methods. Kaya namin kinuha yung classical methods because that's the easiest to teach and easiest to learn actually the basics of drawing and painting.
okay. So, teka, pakita natin yung mga tawag dito, yung Instagram mo. So, when did you ang alam ko nag-ano ka eh, aside from UP, did you take the lessons
Ah,
sa abroad, parang ganun?
yeah, well, nag-short course lang ako sa Florence, no?
Mhm.
But actually, but although I went there really to study murals, no? And particularly yung tinatawag namin quadraturismo, which is like yung mga illusions, chiaroscuro illusions of architectural ornament. So yung nakikita niyo sa ceiling ng San Agustin,
Mhm.
yun yung pinag-aralan namin. How to create that.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
bakit mo was it to supplement kasi sa pagkakaalam ko is established na yung mural business mo eh, yung racket mo sa mga mural. Tapos kaya kumbaga
Mhm.
para is it just to just supplement your knowledge on that?
Yeah, actually, kasama na rin yun. Syempre, to add, in fact, marami talaga kami natutunan doon. No? Um, Most especially yung like history of murals, how decorative design ng murals, mga
Mhm.
ganun. Which is in-apply namin dito sa murals namin. And which, if you look at our murals, it really is different from other murals. No? Ganun.
Oo nga eh. Pag nakita niyo yung mga murals ni Alfred, teka lang, ayusin ko lang nalimutan ko palang ilagay yung mga sinend mo na photos. Bad trip ako.
Wala.
Teka. Lagay lang natin Lagay lang natin. Teka. Let me just pull up those photos that Alfred sent me para makita naman niyo yung yung mga general teka widgets. Okay, slideshow. Okay. Wait lang guys. I'm gonna pull up
Meron.
his yung
Nakaka-apply.
mga sinend mo na mga na mga photos of your works. And then you also parang hindi mo na isama yung yung ginagawa nyo last time na nakita ko yung photos nyo with your team. Yung mural na sa gym ba yun? Sa gym sa Davao?
Hindi gym.
Ay,
Chapel
hindi.
yun.
Ganun ba?
Chapel,
Oh,
but it's a um, chapel na mukhang cathedral. Mukhang
ah,
church. Ang laking chapel yun sa Ateneo de Davao actually. In fact, we're not posting it yet dahil hindi pa tapos yung the whole chapel.
Oh.
But soon this year, ilalabas na namin. It's like 400 square meters of ceiling, tapos around 100 square meters ng wall. It's quite big. To imagine it, it's a 4 floors high na mural. It's so
Grabe.
far the biggest mural na ginawa namin. The most detailed. So it's a Catholic, well, it's Ateneo de Davao, but ang theme namin doon is Mindanaoan elements.
Okay,
In
so
fact, yeah,
ilan yung artist na kasama mo na ginawa niyo yun?
mga around 12 or 15. So, mga around 12 or 15, mga ganun, 12, 15. So, ang ginawa namin is, kami dito yung nag-design. No? We designed the mural, and then four of us or five of us from Manila pumunta dun sa Davao, and then we got actually local artists there
Cool.
to paint with us. Then on the second phase ng project, up to the last phase of the project, mga local artists na mostly ang gumagawa.
Okay.
So parang it's like semi-mentorship na rin and experience na rin sa kanila. And then yun nga, from the second phase to the last phase, totally dalawa na lang kami from Manila, tapos lahat local artists.
Pero did you train those local artists then?
Yeah, actually, before we commenced the mural, we had a 2 to 3 weeks training and pre-production. So, kasi we have to make, kasi 4 floors high siya, and ceiling ginagawa namin is 400 square meters. We made sure na pagdating doon, walang mali na talaga. Kasi mahirap yung packet baba.
Oo nga, no?
And it's a very high.
At saka nakakatakot, 'di ba? Nakakatakot yung
Yeah, but,
is it nerve-wracking? Parang may kasama pa kayong mga babae, 'di ba?
No. Yes. But actually, safety measures pa rin. Imagine muralists are parang kaming construction worker din eh.
Oo nga
This is not like pag studio artist ka kasi, you're in the studio, you create, yan. Pero kami, we treat our work as like construction workers na wherein we have to travel pa to the job site, tapos kasama namin mga mga mason, mga pintor, lahat ng alikabok. Aakyat kami ng scaffoldings. Tapos we have to also learn how to do yung mga safety kasi may orientation yan eh. Pagpasok mo sa isang construction site, may orientation pa kami yan. Pagsuot ng mga harness, ano-ano yung mga dapat, may dress code pa yan ha.
Nasa Facebook ba yan? Nasa Facebook mo ba yan?
Hindi pa namin ma-post eh, pero
no yung
pero actually sa Facebook,
yung ginagawa niyo nung habang ginagawa niyo yung mga photos niyo. May page ka ba niyan? Para mapakita
actually,
natin.
wala yung habang ginagawa. Although meron akong page ng murals, yung AG Murals.
Nandun yung photos nyo nung ginagawa nyo yun?
Wala. Kasi hindi pa namin pwede
No, yung photos nyo. Yung photos nyo. Di ba may nakita akong photos nyo ng mga naka-hard hat kayo eh.
Diba? Okay. Sa personal page yun eh.
Nasa iyo. Sige, wag na yun.
Malalim na yan. But anyway, just imagine us naka-hard hat. Talagang mukha kaming construction workers.
Oo.
Mukha kaming construction workers. And like, tapos during that time, kasi although that's not only our first experience, no? Kasi we experience also working at, nung ginagawa pa yung mga hotels like, Resorts World, for example.
Okay.
Or mga hotels na like Hotel Elizabeth also, yung mga ganun. So may mga hotels kasi under construction pa. So yung daanan talaga namin putikan. So pupunta kami sa job site, putikan. And then unlike studio artists. Studio artists, you're just seated or nakaupo ka lang dyan, nagpipinta. Kami, we really go up the scaffolds and we have to balance ourselves para I mean, yung imagine painting and you have to balance.
Oo nga eh.
Um, ganun kahirap.
Anong klaseng paint ang
really
ginagamit
a
nyo sa...
construction job.
Anong klaseng paint ang ginagamit nyo sa mga murals na ganun? I imagine
Actually,
hindi oil yun, di ba?
Hindi. More on latex. Latex-based lahat.
Okay.
Kasi since latex is an industrial paint,
Mm-hmm.
wherein nag-adhere siya on stone and on gypsum, yung mga gano'n, no? Na yan yung very common walls.
I see. So hindi lang pang kumbaga pwede rin talagang pang artworks ang latex. Hindi ano. Kasi parang sa studio, pag mga galleries, parang hindi ka puro mga oil painting yung ginagamit eh, di ba?
Well, may times oil ang ginagamit namin. But kasi ganito, when we choose our paint, it would depend actually on the design that we did or depends on the effect that we want. So for example, pwede ba banggit ng brand?
Sige, of course. Of course.
For example, actually, like for example, Don Edwards, ginagamit namin yung Don Edwards na paint, no? But there's a certain effect ang Don Edwards na I mean, ang Don Edwards na wala sa ibang brands. So we use the Don Edwards. Ngayon, for example, boys and paints. There's a certain effect, may characteristic yung boys and paint na wala sa Don Edwards. So actually, the brand or the type of paint that we use for our murals would really depend on the design or the effect that we want.
Okay. But do they mix
we have
well?
paints also that
Do they mix well pag yung boysen tsaka sa ibang...
As long as latex and latex.
Okay.
Pareho naman water-based yan, kaya okay lang yan.
Oo nga, no?
Tapos, meron din kaming ini-import na paints, no? For our fall finishes, like Modern Masters, na we import that. So, depende talaga sa effect ni gusto. Metallic paints, although mostly water-based. Actually, aside from medyo toxic ang lacquer and medyo toxic yung mga oil-based na paint, no? Although the latex is also toxic, but the fumes minsan hindi na namin, kumbaga ako hindi ko na kaya.
Talaga?
sa age, hindi na kaya yung mga ganun. So, going back, like our metallics, they're all water-based. Usually kasi pag metallic na paint, sa industrial lacquer yan, bibili ka ng powder, tapos halo ka ng lacquer-based na binder. So, kami naman, we use water-based paints, metallic paints, and we only get that abroad.
Talaga? Abroad pa?
Kasi hindi namin pwedeng gamitin yung maliliit na tubes eh.
Oo nga eh, di ba? Ang mahal noon, di ba?
Yeah, like for example, ito.
Okay.
Mga ganito siya. So dapat parang parang application niya hindi dapat parang latex, very fluid, no?
Okay.
So hindi siya yung kung acrylic kasi na metallic, masyadong heavy body. Tapos magastos.
Yan ba yung ginamit mo dito sa mga murals mo sa Micra? Itong mga pinapakita natin?
Yeah. Mostly ganun.
And also yung mga teka, dami kong tanong about murals. Kasi parang based on sa mga photos, mga talagang mga mga bigatin yung mga kliyente. Ang gaganda ng mga rooms eh, di ba?
Mostly residential and hotels kami.
Oo nga eh.
Kaya
teka. Sige.
Sorry.
Yung tanong ko kasi is why would they choose syempre aside kumbaga parang bakit hindi na lang sila mag-wallpaper mga ganyan. Kumbaga parang
okay, for one kasi wallpaper again depende pa rin sa designer. I always respect designers. Interior designers. Like for example, the wallpaper would really kumbaga kung ang wallpaper would really go for the design that he he intends to meet, then
Mhm.
magwa-wallpaper siya. Although if you're talking about the difference of wallpaper and mural, well, the problem of wallpaper is actually kung na-chip off yan o nasira yan,
Mhm.
and then wala ka ng supply ng wallpaper na yan, ng design na yan, then you have to change the whole thing.
Ah.
Diba?
Or what if yung parang salip na parang sticker na lang siya na customized. May mga gumagawa ba nun? O would you
Hmm.
may gumagawa rin nun. Okay, see.
Meron yan. Although syempre kami, we are the hand-painted talaga kami.
Wow, tsaka iba yung
So,
kumbaga parang iba yung dating talaga pag ginawa ng kamay, 'di ba? Pag ikaw lang
sinasabi
ang
nga
it's
namin
one of
sa
a kind. 'Di ba?
yeah, saka iba ang hand-painted kasi syempre, sabi nila may soul.
Yeah,
May
oo.
soul. Saka hindi mo kang manufactured. Like for example, wallpaper, alam mong print,
Mhm.
manufactured. Galing siya sa isang factory.
Mhm.
Diba? No matter how, how artistic it is, na maraming texture, may metallics. So yung wallpaper ngayon, pwede ka meron na silang mga emboss na wallpaper. Nag-emboss na ng patterns,
Mhm.
mga gano'n. Meron na silang metallics, meron silang mga gold leaf.
Yeah.
Ganun ang mga wallpapers na ngayon. But the thing is, mukha pa rin siyang manufactured.
Mhm.
Like, take for example, no? If medyo interior design na itong pinag-usapan natin.
Oo nga eh.
Kasi actually, murals, kami kasi nasa side ng interior design. Yung art namin.
Mhm. Oo nga.
Like, take for example, di ba lumalabas na yung mga laminates? Tinatawag nilang laminates. Yung akala mo marble, pero hindi siya marble. Yung pala, para siyang printed on something.
Okay.
No? It's really different if it's a real marble, real material. Kahit anong kopya ng gagawin ng isang machine, mukha pa rin siyang from a factory.
Mhm.
Rather than like getting a real marble na hindi mo makikita yung pattern doon. Talagang random siya. Which is, that's the beauty of, again, going back dun sa between wallpaper and hand-painted murals,
Mhm.
yun yung beauty ng hand-painted murals. Wala kang makitang pattern. And then, it's customized for you.
Mhm.
So, for example, kung gusto mo sa edge ng wall mo, medyo madilim, so, lagyan natin ng konting dark tonal values, yung gano'n. Mas customized siya.
I see.
Even the
Ah,
colors are customized.
ang isa pang
Hindi siya published.
ang isa pang nalaman ko when I met you and kumbaga, and when I saw your works is that madami palang klase ng mga mural, 'di ba? 'Di ba? So may mga
Yes.
so kasi yung iba parang mural na let's say may mga parang yung mga graffiti, mural din 'yun, 'di ba? O kaya tapos
Yes.
yung mga parang painting na nakalagay yung parang mga spolarium, mural din 'yun. Pero yung ibang
Mm.
yung ibang mga ginagawa mo na murals, yung mga teka like this pakita natin. Eto, iba tong mural na 'to, 'di ba? Hindi mo
Ano yan?
makikita agad.
Patingin?
Yung nasa garden.
Ah,
Oh, 'di ba?
yun na sa garden. May swimming pool.
Oo, 'yun. Tapos ito, para may pagoda.
Yung garden. Yan. Yeah,
Mm.
actually, yeah. In fact, yung pagoda dyan, I did that 2003 pa yan. So,
Okay.
ganun katagal, no? But it's a timeless design. Hanggang ngayon,
Wow.
ginagamit.
Eto, anong
Na,
mural
may,
dito? This one. What
ha?
is parang wala ako nakikitang mural dito. Kumbaga parang you make parang you make an illusion on walls.
Ah,
'Di ba?
ano yun?
'Yun.
Balik ka, dun sa um, yung parang room na library,
Oo.
wala
Anong
kang
painting
nakikitang
dito?
mural.
Oo eh. Tingin ko yung shelf
Ano
eh.
yun? Yung shelf.
Yung shelf, 'di ba? So parang
Uh,
it's
Actually,
parang
sa kabila niyan is a door. Sa
oh.
kabila niyan, just imagine it, sa kabila niyan is a door. So, ang ginawa niyan is we reflected the door, yung color ng door, para mag-balance lang siya. So, ginawa namin siya shelf. Pero that's an illusion. Kaya lang, syempre, makikita mo talagang, kasi mga old books, mga old globe, ganun ang ginawa
Mm.
namin. Yeah, and this was done way back 2000, 2010.
Wow. So why would why would clients ask you to do this? Yan lang ba yung ginawa nyo o may parang part yan ng isang buong mga murals na ginawa mo sa
This
bahay?
is just one room. Actually,
Parang
in fact,
natripan
ano
niya
niya
lang.
to? Hindi naman. Hindi, actually, ano to? Office, parang office niya inside the house. So maybe this is where he meets his client. No? But
Okay.
the whole house actually ginawa namin. From living room to dining room to
Mhm.
powder rooms, bedrooms, ginawa namin sila. Yung iba-ibang designs din ang
Mhm.
ginawa namin for that. Yeah.
Wow. Ang galing eh. Tapos nung unang tingin ko kanina parang mural dito, 'di ba? If you unless you look at it closely.
Actually, and that's the difference. You make it's a conversational piece din sa isang sa isang bahay.
Ah.
Actually, alam mo yun yung murals. Um, na pumasok kasi yan actually, I think the time 2001 to 2002 naging parang trend na siya. Ngayon ang dami mo
Mm.
na nakikita murals actually.
Oo.
Naging trend yan 2001 and 2002 when the time na medyo nagpipeak din yung interior design at the time na marami ng mga interior designers,
Oo
conscious
nga.
na yung mga tao about interior design.
Mm.
Dati mga way back 1990 and before 1980s, hindi pa masyadong conscious yung tao dyan.
Mm.
So ngayon, grabe,
Were you one of the
conscious na
first
sila sa
na
interior design.
Were you one of the
Sorry?
first were you one of the first na na
There was,
provider?
there were others na nauna sa akin. In fact,
Okay.
they are mga seniors and I look up to them. Like,
Mhm.
there's one architect, fine arts architect siya. Eh, syempre, may mga kliyente siya, so gumagawa na siyang
Oo.
murals, di ba?
Mm.
Tapos, one, yung mga nauna nagpo-finish here, so murals is, I think that's Manahan. So, she has friends na nagpapagawa sa mga houses nila. So, yeah, sila ang mga nauna. Although kami, ang ginawa kasi namin, we made it into a business talaga, more than
Mhm.
a hobby. Kasi dati parang hobby lang yan. Again, nag-umpisa kami sa racket lang, di ba? So,
Oo.
racket, kasi
Sige
ayun,
pa.
padagdag na ano,
Paano ka napasok doon sa
history.
mural scene?
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, if I don't know if you remember, 1990s kasi, 1994, 1995, during that time kasi, it was the time when SM Mega Mall and all the big malls like Robinsons, lahat ng mga malls na yan, nagsitayuan. Okay?
Okay.
And there was no tarpaulin pa that time. Wala pang mga printed large scale format printing. So
Okay.
they were actually hiring artists, no? And then nag-boom ang restaurant business sa Pilipinas. Nung nag-boom ang restaurant business sa Pilipinas, I remember we had clients before like Angelinos, mga old school yan. Okisoba, this famous restaurant na marami yan sila, no? So, in fact, one of the oldest, ewan ko lang kung nandyan pa, but last time I saw it, Kenny Rogers, no? Nagmi-mural sila nun. Kasi wala pa yung mga printed.
Talaga?
So, inumpisaan namin yung ganyan. So, even Levi's was our client before. Levi's, kasi ang ginagawa nila, wala pa silang printed eh. So, mga visual merchandising kami yung gumagawa. And
Oh.
isa sa mga first clients namin during the UP days pa kami, estudyante pa kami sa UP, was actually si Rico Gutierrez. Rico
Mhm.
Gutierrez ngayon, si Direct Rico Gutierrez.
Okay.
He was actually the creative director of Giftgate. When we got Giftgate, ang dami namin racket noon because we did Troll of Fame, we did Giftgate, dami namin racket. And then they were so aggressive in the malls. Swatch, ginawa namin Swatch.
Wow,
So
Giftgate.
lahat ng merchandising
Nostalgia
materials
yan,
kami nagpipinta. Ha? Ano
Nostalgia
na?
yung Giftgate. May Giftgate pa ba? May Giftgate
Hindi
pa
ko
ba?
nga alam eh. Meron pa
Oo
ba?
nga, no?
Yung
Para,
Hello Kitty at saka yung Kero Kero Keropi.
oo, yun, di ba? Mga tito. What's up, mga tito?
Uh,
Si Catherine
mga
de los
titos and titas.
Catherine de los Santos. Oy,
Tapos
that's
yun,
uh, yeah. Byron Ong, mga nanonood.
karaoke. Yun.
Okay, tuloy natin yung kwento.
So, yeah.
Sorry. So,
So, wala, naupo na ako. Yun, pumasok to mga gift gate and all that. So, mga restaurants, mga malls. So, yun ang mga pinaggagawa namin.
mhm.
Yun yung mga, and then, um, for a time, pumasok may time na pumasok yung tarp. So, medyo, ang challenge sa amin is, kino-compare kami sa tarp. Like, magkano per square inch nyo? Ganun na yung presyohan. No?
Okay.
Magkano per square inch nyo? Tapos, lagi kami kino-compare sa tarp. Kasi, pag kunwari, Mediterranean restaurant, magpapaprint na lang sila ng Mediterranean Sea in case sila magpapaprint sila.
Oh.
So, nawalan kami ng work doon. And then, I think one of the first mga art walls pero printed na pumasok actually is Starbucks. Starbucks ang isa sa mga nagpauso niyan eh. Yung mga printed wall art nila.
Oo.
So, nung pumasok yung Starbucks, yun, nagkaroon ng idea about printing. So, nag-print na. And then, pumasok yung franchise. When restaurants started franchising, hindi na kaya ng muralist, of course, to do the same thing in different franchises.
Yeah.
So, kailangan nila magpa-print. So, nawalan kami ng work noon. But, parang blessing disguise, pumasok yung sa TV, yung cable.
Wow.
Mga 90s
Cable?
yun.
Okay.
95, 96. Pumasok yung cable TV. Yung nagkaroon ng cable TV, nagkaroon ng lifestyle channel, nagkaroon ng HGTV. So, nung nagkaroon ng HGTV at sa mga lifestyle channel, nag-open na ngayon ng mga residential at sa mga residences at sa the possibilities of fall finishes and also murals. So, nung pumasok yung possibility na yun, we took advantage of it. So, to the point na sinasabi namin sa client kung magpapamural, talagang ganito kami noon. Gawin namin yan. Kung ayaw mo, ibabalik namin sa dating kulay. You don't have to pay us. Kasi kailangan namin mag-build up ng portfolio.
Wow.
Mostly, gusto namin ipasok ang residential. Kasi, syempre, ang cheap mo naman pag nagpa-print ka sa residential mo, di ba? Parang magpa-tarp ka din. Di ba? Hindi maganda. Gusto pa rin talaga nila na, alam mo that feeling of clients na parang gusto nila na parang to tell their friends na, hey, an artist came here and painted on my walls. Ganon ang dating. So, mas gusto nila yon. Gusto nila yung ganyan. So, nung pumasok yung HGTV at saka, so na-open up about murals and faux finishes yung mga tao. So, it was an advantage actually for us. So, we targeted actually residential. Hindi na kami nag-commercial kasi dati panay restaurants kami. So, yung residential, so yun, we risked our first risk kasi I remember when I was presenting to my client before with an interior designer, no? Ang pinipresent ko na portfolio ko at gagawin ko yung living room niya. Ang pinipresent ko na portfolio ko is boom na boom.
Oo nga, no?
mga murals na mga ano yun, mga Winnie the Pooh sa mga commercial na
okay.
Ganyan. So parang sabi ko, sige, anong ipapakita ko? Kaya sinasabi ko sa kliyente na, sige, I'll do that. I'll put up a mural there. If you don't like, I'll put the original color. And, well, wala naman nagpapalit ng kulay. And we were charging like very cheap lang talaga dati. Talagang baba ng presyo because we are trying to introduce the concept of murals. Then, we decided actually to link na with interior designers. Dati,
anong year to?
I don't know.
Anong year to?
Around 1999 to 2000. So, turn of the century. So, actually, when we link with interior designers, in fact, before that pa, hate ko interior designers. Kasi syempre, hate ko talaga yung mga yan. Kasi nagpipinta ka na, matatapos na yung mural mo, sabay papasok sila. Minsan, alam mo yun, minsan, hindi sila lagi sa job site. So, kung kailan patapos ka na, saka lang sila darating, tapos sabihin nila, that's not the color I want. Yung mga ganyan.
Oh my
So,
God.
parang, alam mo yung ganyan, no? So,
Mm.
talaga hate namin yung interior designers kasi parang hindi, kumbaga, yeah, and mostly, kasi magkukwento lang minsan sila, no? Like, blue, gusto ko ng blue color. Pero ang daming shades ng blue.
Mhm.
So, ang hirap i-pick up kung ano yung gusto nila.
Wala ba silang
So,
hindi ba sila nagbibigay ng mga parang Pantone ganyan, mga ganyan?
actually, now, ganun na ang ginagawa. But before, it's more of like that. Or maybe, at the time, I was working with medyo, yung mga bata pang na interior designers or hindi pa masyado.
Okay.
But, uh, yeah, and then, we decided to link with interior designers. So, and one of that actually is yung Philippine School of Interior Design.
Mhm.
Um, we did some murals for them every year
Mhm.
for their thesis class. No, that's way back 2006. Um, yung pag-link namin sa interior designers, we were able to understand the language of interior design. So, na-adapt namin. Like, for example, if we go to the job site, if we don't know interior designers, we don't know the color palette of the interior designers, usually yung ginagawa natin, meron kang orange, galing sa tube, may blue, may green, tapos imimix mo yan, tapos punta ka. Ngayon, sa murals, what we do is we ask the interior designers, what is your color palette? From their color palette, doon ititimpla na namin yung mga colors na yan before we go to the job site.
Mm.
So, doon kami nagbe-base na lagi. So,
Oh,
mga
so
things like that.
so na ano,
So,
kumbaga parang mga learning process 'yan eh. Parang nung una, ganito pala. Tapos dun sa mga hassle na nararanasan mo, nag-a-adapt kayo and you develop a workflow that is more efficient.
correct.
All right.
Correct. And then, I think 14 years kami sa PSID na nagsusponsor. Every
Oh.
year, 14 years. So, 14 years gumagawa kami ng murals sa kanila. And ang maganda doon is that um, there's a working relationship na with the designer and the artist.
Mhm.
So, parang ngayon, it's like, dati kasi, alam mo yun, inaabutan lang kami ng design. Ito yung gawin mo. Kopyahin mo na yung sumunod. Ngayon, hindi na. It's more of asking us now, what do you think? Well, what do you think, Alfred? Ano maganda dito? So parang the artist now becomes part of the design process ngayon with the
Mhm.
interior designer.
Wow.
Yon. So which is maganda dahil mas collaborative yung work. Although we always look at interior designers as to lead the group kasi syempre doon kami nagre-rely sa kanila ng design
Okay.
nila.
Okay. Yeah. Pero was there a time na parang I don't know, parang medyo second class yung tingin sa iyo dun pagdating sa job site mo, dun sa mga muralist? O kumbaga parang hindi sapat
Um,
yung respeto dati?
Actually, hindi naman. Mataas din ang tingin nila sa mga artist
Sa
eh. Like,
artist,
yung mga workers din, kasama namin. Talaga
Mhm.
mataas. Siguro yung tingin ko sa sarili ko noon, second class. Kasi in a sense kasi, nasa decorative eh. And all of my batch is fine arts. Talagang exhibiting artists, lahat yung true
Okay.
blue, true blue artists.
Oh, name
Talagang,
artist talaga, okay.
ganun.
Mm.
Kami, commercial. Sobrang commercial.
I see.
So, sobrang commercial kami. We're catering to clients. So, parang art ba itong ginagawa natin? Ano?
Oo nga. So
No?
how would you
Diba?
define that?
No, actually, in a way, nung una kasi, no, actually, going back to that, yung professor ko sa college, kasi one time, magkakasama kami sa, parang reunion, no?
Mhm.
Balikan. Tapos nandiyan niya, tinanong yung isang kabatch ko, nasaan ka na? Ako, curator ako dito. Or assistant ako dito. Isa naman, may show ako dito. Yan. So, sabi ko, ingit ako. Tapos nung tinanong ako ng teacher ko, ng prof namin, ikaw, Alfred, sir, wala, commercial lang, mural, yung ganyan, ano? Kasi parang nahihiya ka eh. Kasi
Talaga?
decorative yung dating works mo.
Okay.
But the thing is, this prof of ours, sabi niya, Alfred, There's nothing wrong with being commercial unless you don't admit you're commercial. So, nabuhayan ako na, nga naman, ba't pa ako magpapa-art? Kung commercial naman talaga, commercial talaga. So, yun na nangyari. Although ngayon, after so many years, again, when a craft, when there's a mastery on the craft, kasi una craft ang tingin mo when there's a mastery, it becomes an art na. So, paano ko na, yun? As the years go by kasi, clients are asking me na, I'll do what you want to do there. Ganun na Alfred, please don't forget to sign your work. Ganun na So, it's something na talagang a valuable art na siya, na hindi na siya na parang part of accessory of interior design. So, parang umabot na sa ganung level because you get to be, you get to do your craft all those years. Tapos naging art na siya or naging na siya, something na
well, you elevated it. You elevated it to the next level, diba? You elevated, diba? You elevated it to...
And then of course, pinag-aralan namin. I mean, like, ang daming design problems kami na ginagawa, no? Or ang dami naming kumbaga parang product development ang dating na we continuously change yung mga murals namin. Kaya it's exploration ng new materials, yung mga ganyan.
Ayos. So pero aside from murals, of course, you are also an exhibiting artist. Kumbaga you are kumbaga regular ka pa rin ba sa
pagpipinta
sa mga
shows.
Galleries, mga ganyan, sa mga shows, 'di ba? Kasi
kailangan Actually when I put up the school, itong Atelier,
I'm showing them your Instagram page. So may mga nandito yung mga studio works mo 'di ba? Diba? So,
sa FB page din, mas marami actually din sa FB page ng Galvez Atelier. But yung when we opened the Atelier, so we decided to set up a classical realism school. So when we set up the classical realism school, of course, kailangan ko i-practice, no? I mean, I need, kasi kung ano yung tinuturo ko, dapat pina-practice ko. That's why nag-show ako. Nag-exhibit ako.
Okay. So parang kasama rin, in a way, that's part of the business strategy. You can,
kasi syempre when students are like, for example, I'm teaching classical realism. Syempre, if the students want to learn from me, they have to look at my work, di ba? Parang dapat makita nila, ay,
sino ba to? Di ba? Tama.
Ganito pa yung trabaho niya, ganun.
Okay.
So, kaya continuous din naman yung shows namin. Yung shows ko.
Alright.
Nai-invite, pero mga group show, well, for a time, nag-solo show ako. But ngayon kasi medyo, busy pa. But hopefully, I'll have my next solo show. But mostly, nasa group show ako.
Ang naalala kong show mo was the Diwata series.
Parang, yes, actually, yung Diwata series, actually, yung Facebook page niya yung The Paintings of Alfred Galvez. Yung Diwata, yung FB page na, The Paintings of Alfred Galvez. Yung Diwata series, kasi nga nasa classical realism ako. So, ang nangyari sa classical realism, kailangan you have a figure na parang parang, yung parang the beauty, harmony, and completeness kasi yung classical realism. So, I need figures na parang yung mga Olympiads or parang yung mga kumbaga sa mga classical paintings, yung mga gods and goddesses and all that. So, napunta ako sa Diwata. So, yung Diwata series ko ngayon, that first, ginawa ko yung Diwata sa Gumamela, Diwata So, pabigla.
Nakailang series na ba yun?
Yung mga ganyan.
Nakailan na bang batches ng Diwata
Series?
series? Oo.
Ang shows niya, I think, naka 5 shows na yan.
Wow.
5 solo shows. Pero, ano siya, para siyang series. Kasi at that time, pumasok yung Game of Thrones. So, yung concept ko ngayon is parang, sige, gawin ko siyang series na exhibit. Na parang, ngayon, kwentong Diwata sa may subtitle, love stories. Tapos, next show naman, kwentong Diwata, The Revolution. Although yung mga Diwata series ko, again, hindi siya, una kasi ginawa ko parang gumamela and all that, pero medyo nababaduyan na nga. Ginawa ko yung Diwata is more of parang tuhog-tuhog na may political messages or may environmental messages, may ganun. And then, hindi stylized yung mga ginawa ko. Just like Caravaggio, at the time of Caravaggio, kasi kung makikita mo yung mga figures ng mga Diwata ko, hindi sila talaga Diwata, it's just an ordinary, kung sino nakikita mo dyan. No? And yung faces nila, yung mga yung mga katawan nila, hindi sila yung very ethereal tingnan. In fact, nung one of my friends would say na, used to say na, hindi naman mukhang ethereal yung gawa mga Diwata. Yan. Hindi naman kailangan. So, iniba ko yung Diwata. Ginawa ko siyang, just like Caravaggio. Yung Caravaggio kasi yung mga models niya, ginawa kasi niya is that he got his models, yung mga kainuman niya. Like for example, si Matthew or si Christ, actually mga kasama lang niya yun sa tabi-tabi. So hindi sila ethereal. Hindi ethereal yung mga itsura. Hindi godly yung mga itsura ni Caravaggio yung mga disciples ng mga kids niya. Because the reason for that is that so that people can relate. Kasi pag Diyos ka, masyadong mataas
Okay.
Diyos tingnan, lumilipad. So para makarelate, it's something na everyday na nakikita nila ng tao. So, ganun ang ginawa ko dun sa mga paintings ko din. Para makarelate sila sa Diwata in everyday person na nakikita nila.
Okay.
Hindi sila ethereal.
And also, you tawag dito, gumagamit ka talaga ng ng mga ng real life models. Talagang models yung ginagamit mo na
real life. Kasi part of the classical realism practice is that you use real life models. Okay. You have to you have to paint the real life models. Although of course some of them from photographs, but it's a practice then na you have to have real life models.
Do you
some of them nag-studio shots mo kami.
Okay. Do you adhere to yung mga rules na ganyan na dapat ganito kasi yung tawag dito traditionally?
Hindi naman. Pag sinabi namin practice, ibig sabihin mandaya ka na, mag-trace ka na. Basta don't forget na once in a while, you go to the studio, get a live model. Para wala namang get a dead model, but get a model. And paint live. Ganun.
Okay.
So, yeah, once in a while, kailangan yan. I mean, even, in fact, I would like to express that also to some of our artists, na even if you're in the abstraction and the conceptual art, it's nice to go back to the studio and draw or paint a model. Ganon. Because it's part of our observational process. You get to observe a portrait, you get to observe a person, and very meticulous ka sa mga lines, kung paano nag-twist yung smile or yung lips, paano umangat yung eyebrows, ilang angles lang ang difference, and gano'n. So, yeah. I mean, you can, pwede kang kumuha. Actually, in fact, some of my paintings, photoshoot yan photoshoot, and then you paint. But don't forget the practice na go, di ba, naalala mo, meron tayong mga live models na ginawa na
ano nga ba yung tawag doon?
Dapat tuloy-tuloy yan.
Guhi Toma. Iba ba yan?
Dapat tuloy-tuloy yan.
Gawin ulit natin yun.
Actually, meron kami. Actually, although kasi nga, iba na nga yung name niya yun. Ginawa namin Saturday Art Live.
Saturday night.
Saturday Art Live.
Ah, okay.
So sa Saturday Art Live, we have ito yung mga activities. May still life, may
Mhm.
portrait, and then may nude model.
Wow. Is this regular every Saturday?
Every Saturday, although ngayon, dahil itong ano na to, crisis na
Oo.
to, so
No.
wala mo na ngayon. But it's an every Saturday thing.
Kasi,
So minsan meron kami mga after actually meron kami mga like mga alumni or mga ibang kahit mga teachers din
mhm.
dito. So magse-set up na lang sa taas and then mag-paint sila or mag-drawing sila. Mga ganun. But it's open for students and alumni dito and teachers and guests also. Open din sa guests.
Grabe, ang dami mo ng paintings, man. Mga ilang piyesa na napinta mo.
Di pa yan.
Parang walang katapusan tong kiniklik ko forward. Oh.
Kasi I think if that's 5 shows, that's 15 artworks per show. So, konti pa yan.
Ito, oh, mga nagiging models mo, mga celebrities rin eh, naaalala ko eh. 'Di ba? So, paano mo nakukuha yung mga ganyan na models to post for
talking
you?
about that.
Mm.
Nasa ano kasi kami, isa sa mga racket na ginagawa namin was body painting before.
Oh, okay.
In fact, nag-produce kami ng 2 shows. First show kami nag-produce, a fashion show na body painting sa Eastwood. Ginawa namin yun way back 2007.
Mhm.
2006 something like that. And then, I don't know if you remember yung Art and Music Festival sa Mega Mall before kay Jay Virinia. Si Jay Virinia yung nag-organize noon. Nag-ano rin kami. So, nag-show kami ng mga body painting before. In fact, member kami ng World Body Painting before. So, yun mga ginagawa namin.
Talaga may grupo pala yun, World
Kaya
Body
kilala yung mga
Painting.
artista.
May grupo pala ng World Body Painting. Paano ba sumali dyan sa World Body Painting?
Ay, okay doon. Actually, nag-originate ang center niyan is Austria. Yung World Body Painting Festival.
Mhm.
So, it's nag-center yan sa Austria and then naging member kami. But of course, hindi na kasi kami active ngayon kaya hindi na kami member ngayon.
Mhm.
Tapos every year may competition doon. Tapos umiikot yan. New Zealand, US, ganun. But ang center for body painting, world body painting is in Austria.
Okay.
Seaboden.
Pag nakakatuwa lang talaga when I see yung mga works na mga works mo. Kasi ako artist din ako pero parang what I do is very different from what you do, 'di ba? Kasi iba yung creative tsaka sa ano. Can you explain what are the differences ng classical tsaka creative? In more
No, actually no. Both naman. I mean, classical kasi it's also a creative work. But
of course.
yung sinatawag lang namin yung classical realism na academic method of teaching lang yan.
Mm-hmm.
Hindi siya creative. So, academic teaching actually is more of you have to really copy it. Kasi, kunwari, di ba pag may workshops tayo na, for example, dati, no, na, kunwari, mga workshops na gagawa ka ng still life. Tapos, paint mo yung still life, no? Paint ka ng gano'n.
Okay.
Tapos mukhang Van Gogh yung still life mo. Sasabihin ngayon ng teacher, oh, that's nice, no? You continue with that style. Yung mga ganyan ng ano, no? Sa amin, hindi. Kasi, kung anong nakikita mo, yan ang dapat kopyahin mo.
Oo.
Diba? Now, the thing is, syempre, because of, yung mga critics would say na, ba't hindi mo nalang kunan? Yung photography na lang. That's not the point because actually academic method is a practice. Ibig sabihin ang pinapractice mo dyan is actually your observational skills. Yan ang pinaka-importante because an artist should know how to observe kasi yung input ang importante niya so that he knows how to do his output. So for example, copying ko yung still life, I need to copy it exactly how it looks like. Nasa-scrutinize mo yan how angles are are created, kung naka 10 degrees ba siya o kung naka 15 degrees ba siya. Kasi it spells a difference eh. Like for example, ang human anatomy, kuwari, human figure, nakatayo ng gano'n. As like, gano'n lang ng shoulder, 10 degrees or 5 degrees lang gano'n ng shoulder, it spells a big difference.
Iba na.
Iba na ang kwento nun. So ngayon, kung observational skills mo, magaling ka dyan, kaya nga, nagtataka tayo, but ang galing-galing ng mga classical masters, yung ultimo like for example, si Bernini, yung ultimo yung pag-press ng fingers and parang lumulubog sa flesh. So how did he capture that? Diba? It's because he knows how to observe. So ngayon, kung if you have that skill, even if you go to design, even if you go to abstraction, conceptual, etc. Bit-bit mo na yan. Forever bit-bit mo na yan. And then, syempre, ngayon, sa panahon na ngayon, hindi ka naman ko-question. Gumagawa ka ng abstract, tapos ko-questioning ka, marunong ka pa mag-drawing. Di ba? So, parang, hindi ka naman ko-questioning. Parang, marunong ka ng abstract, hindi ka naman marunong, mas magaling pa yung trabaho mo. I mean, I love all forms of art. No? But, the thing is, ito lang sinasabi ko because this is the common na sinasabi ng mga tao or ng mga observers or ng audience or mga viewers. Galing mong mag-abstract. Pero, hindi ka naman pala marunong mag-drawing. So, yung gano'n, no? Mas magaling pa mag-drawing anak ko kaysa sa iyo. Parang gano'n yung sinasabi. So, ibig sabihin, parang, hindi ka na ito-questionin if you know how to draw. And you don't have to be, like, when you say kasi very good in drawing, talagang realistic na trabaho. Ganun. Hindi. In fact, classical realism is a cross between impressionism and realism. Really? Or kasi hindi kami if you take a look at our paintings in classical realism, hindi namin kino-consider ang photorealism as classical realism or hyperrealism.
Wow, talaga?
Yeah. In fact, hindi mo makita yung mga masyadong makinis yung mga method. Yung makinis kahit. Hindi gano'n, no? Kasi if you take a look at the paintings of the classical realism, talagang pag close-up mo, realistic siya. Pag close-up mo ng gano'n, pahid lang talaga siya. Dubs lang ng color.
Kumbaga kita yung mga strokes.
Kumbaga, it's an impression. Parang siyang layers ng mga colors na gano'n. So parang it's going to the impressionism side.
Kumbaga pag tiningnan mo, alam mong painting, yun yung di ba? Kasi may mga hyper-realistic na parang mukha ng photo. Pero iba yung nararamdaman mo pag tumitingin ka ng isang image na kuha na tama yung itsura. Tapos alam mong dinrawing siya, alam mong pininta siya. Diba? Yun yung is that what you're going after when you
Yes, actually it's more of yung brush strokes mo. Actually it's the illusion of creating realism. Sorry. Sabi ko, it's creating an illusion. Yun lang pala. It's creating an illusion lang. Diba? It's not imitating how a camera would look at a subject. It's not how, that's photorealism. It's not how microscopic yung hanggang pores ng skin tinape mo na to make it realistic, diba? Hindi ganon. So, in fact, like classical realism, we have what we call the limited palette. Pag limited palette, you only have 2 colors plus black and white. Yun lang gagamitin mo for the whole painting to make it look, to make a portrait, to make flesh tones. So, limited palette. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya tulad ng mga realism na makikita mo lahat ng kulay ginamit na to capture kung ano nakikita nila sa photograph. Ganon. Hindi ganon. So, it's more of giving the feel lang of realism. Mapakita mo yung feeling of realism. Like, for example, the works of Rembrandt. Rembrandt, makita mo, pag kinlose up mo, wala naman yung mga pores na ginawa, pero feeling mo may pores. Yung ganon. No? So, pag close up mo, makita mo talaga yung brush strokes. No? And, and then, of course, essential is that your knowledge on medium is very important. No? Hindi, yan ang nawala kasi sa, when modern art came kasi, hugot-hugot na lang tayo ng mga gamit, no? For
Mhm.
example, maganda yung color blue, maganda yung color ultramarine or Prussian blue. Pero we always forget the characteristic of the material. Walang tumitingin sa likod ng tube nila, no? Sa tube na binibili nila. Kasi doon sa likod ng tube na binibili nila, doon nakalagay kung if it's transparent or semi-opaque, ang light fastness ng tube na yan. So, if you have that knowledge on your material, on your medium also, then mas magagawa mong tama yung painting mo.
Oh. Anong
Yeah. So part yun sa classical realism. Knowing your medium, knowing your brushes, hindi lang yung basta bunot ka na lang dyan. Kuha ka
So what is your
store.
favorite medium? Anong pinakang
No,
preferred mo?
actually my favorite medium talaga and my medium all talaga is ever since was watercolor. Watercolor talaga ako.
Well,
Yeah,
that's quite
talaga.
surprising, di ba? Kasi puro mga oil
No,
at
kasi
mga...
doon ako nag-umpisa watercolor. Watercolor ako nag-umpisa and then of course sa fine arts, viscom, water media palagi. So, yeah, watercolor. And then murals ko, it's all water-based, no? Nag-oil paint lang ako because of the classical realism method. But again, I enjoy very versatile kasi ang oil compared sa other mediums like acrylic and watercolor. Versatile ang oil kasi it's one, you can go transparencies, you can go watercolor, you can only go transparent. Oils, you can go transparent, you can go opaque. Slow ang drying time. When the drying time is slow, mas na-adjust mo, mas manipulate mo, at mas nakokontrol mo yung painting mo. Yun yung kagandahan ng oils. Then of course, enjoy din yung gagawa ka ng sarili ng concoction, like using for example, oil painting medium, plus gamsol, plus mga mineral spirits, plus ganyan.
Okay.
May konting chemistry din. No? Parang alak din ang chemistry. Mixed drinks.
Let's go to you as a teacher naman in di ba? Kasi you are parang heading a studio and I've seen a lot of actually a lot of great artists have already taken classes from you. Shout out kay napakalupit na si Angelica, ano nga bang apelyido niya?
Angelica Regala.
Angelica Regala. Oo nga, Regala nga ba?
Malupit na. Malupit
diba?
na yan bago pa siya dumating dito.
Oo nga di ba? Tapos lalo pang lupit, pumunta pa ng Paris ata. Ewan kong nanonood
pumunta na siya ng Florence.
di ba?
Nag-aaral siya sa Florence Academy of Art.
So did you go there as well? Punta ka
No. I went to Florence to study murals. Iba yung ko.
I see. Pero
iba
it's not the same school.
No. Ang Florence Academy of Art is classical. Sa studio ako ng artist. There were two artists that I studied with. Si Alison Grace Woolley, who's a Canadian but lives in Italy. And si Marco Cavellini, who's actually Italian.
Apprenticeship ba yung ginawa mo? Apprenticeship?
It's parang ganun. It's mentorship.
Okay. I see.
Apprenticeship, yeah. Sorry.
So pag nung pumunta ka doon, kasi nung nag-uusap tayo parang may mga pinapakita ka sa akin na parang hindi ko alam parang hindi ko alam kung it's a template or parang guidelines kung paano ituro, parang ganoon, or parang ano yung mga kailangang ituro, mga papel, mga kumbaga parang this is ito yung mga official na parang itong grupo para ano
yung ARC, Art Renewal Center, yung in-approve kami.
Yan yata. Basta parang this is how we do it, how we paint, how we
yeah, kasi actually there is like merong anong tawag ito? Merong organization actually is yung organization na yun is they are sila yung parang sila yung umbrella organization of all the classical realism schools. So kasama dyan yung Florence Academy of Art, Barcelona Academy of Art, ganyan. And then just last year actually, kasi nga may pina-follow kami curriculum at may pina-follow kami lagi na kind of standards din.
Yung pangalan ulit? Yung
So,
pangalan ulit? Yung
Art
pangalan ulit?
Renewal Center.
Oh, sige. Art, I'll just look it up.
So ngayon, just last year, ang Galvez Atelier is an approved school of the Art Renewal Center.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're the only approved school dito sa Pilipinas. Although, yeah, kami na yung approved school dito. So,
wow.
ibig sabihin, we met some standards na rin. And then, last year, we have our first foreign teacher from New York Academy of Art and from Canadian Art Academy. Vancouver.
In-house na sa Galvez Atelier? Parang ganun?
Hindi siya in-house in a sense, visiting guest artist namin. So, but he does that yearly. So, last year, meron kami November, and then this March, actually, hindi pala, dumana yung March. Itong March na to, dapat pupunta siya, but because of the COVID, hindi na siya pumunta. So, na-move siya ng July. In fact, pupunta siya ng Davao sa July. Si Michael Breton, he's yung foreign teacher namin dito. So, yeah. So, basically, tuloy-tuloy na rin. We have actually foreign guests na rin. And mga classical realist painters na rin dito. Then at the same time, natitrain din kami ulit. With this artist. We don't have to go abroad na siguro. Or although some of the teachers are planning also to go abroad. But at least we have this artist na.
So sa lahat ng mga art enthusiast kasi yung mga ibang nakikita ko at least based dun sa mga photos, parang mga parang mga wala lang magawa ng mga nanay, 'di ba? Mga mayayaman pupunta sa inyo.
Yeah, actually talking about the market. Yung market ng Atelier, of course we have the hobbyists, yung sinasabi mo. We have mga serious artists na who wants to add more knowledge. Tapos meron kami mga professional artists mga nag-exhibit natin mga milyon-milyon na yung mga trabaho nila pupunta ba dito para pag-aaral. Ay nakakatuwa, di ba? Yan nakakatuwa kasi parang siguro sinasabi nila ay parang lahat tayo ganoon naman eh. Pag may kulang, gusto natin yung knowledge, no? Gusto natin makuha ulit yung knowledge na yun.
Well, kaya
so,
sila lalong nagiging successful, 'di ba? Kasi they don't stop learning.
That's why. Diba? Yeah, parang hindi they're humble enough to learn again, di ba?
Oo nga.
Kasi yung mga ibang artists talaga ayaw na mag-learn eh. Kasi feeling nila nandun na sila sa taas.
Okay, parang they're above na with above everybody else.
Nakikita na ako. Pero yeah, but the thing is, although true, no? I mean, like artists like that, sikat na, milyon-milyon na yung trabaho, nag-aaral pa rin. I think it's a cycle always. You learn, you create, and then siguro sa part namin, we teach. So parang learn, create, teach. It's a cycle, no? So parang minsan pag hindi ka nakapagturo, as an artist, parang nakakompleto yung pagiging artist mo kung nagtuturo ka rin. Diba? Kasi you learn, you create, and then you teach.
True.
Diba? Kahit na you don't hold workshops or something like that, but a mere apprentice would do. No?
Sinasabi ko nga, yung isang sinasabi ko is parang when you're an artist or any kahit anong profession mo na parang you reach the top, you reach a certain level na parang there's not much kumbaga parang nagpa-plateau na yung kumbaga magaling ka na eh. Alam mo sa sarili mo, parang nakaangat ka na. Parang the next level, is to complete the circle and then teach naman, 'di ba? Kasi parang you give back. That is I think that is the natural preferred na cycle ng mga tao in any profession, 'di ba? Parang you teach others para may magtutuloy nung mga
and then art. Of course tama. Para may magtutuloy kasi hindi mo na parang kailangan mag-extend Kailangan mag-extend yung mag-extend yung knowledge
Mm.
to the next generation.
Oh.
Kaya nga we make art immortal Di ba? That's why we were passing it on. Like how my mentor passed it on me.
Mm-mm.
My mentor actually is a university professor sa PWU,
Mm-mm.
Philippine Women's Dean siya doon, si Madarang. So, yeah, yan din ang tinuro sa akin actually. You learn, you create, and you teach. So,
ang maganda
just
pa
like
niyan, the next batch, yung mga next generation, they will improve pa on what you taught them, 'di ba? Parang 'di ba? Tapos parang may mga times na parang 'di ba? They elevate it to the next level pa. Kasi
yes. At saka yung hindi. True. At saka yung next batch, maswerte nga sila. Maswerte yung next batch kasi yung tayo, yung mga trial and error natin, ituturo na lang natin sa kanila without them experiencing the trial and error. Parang kumbaga sa sila, shortcut na.
Maniniwala na lang
Well,
sila,
hindi naman
'di ba?
shortcut. But ibig sabihin, wala na sila nung trial and error. Binigyan na natin sila ng solution.
Tama.
Kaya, grabe. I mean, like, I have students na like Wanda Tutanes is already a teacher here. Pero nung nag-umpisa siya dito, nag-aaral pa siya sa Philippine Science. Pero sobrang galing niya mag-paint. Parang grabe yung balance ng mga new generation ngayon
Okay.
Balancing ang kanilang left and right brain Tayo noon, kami noon, talagang kung right brainer ka, right ka lang. Kung left ka.
May mga taong ganun talaga Oo.
Meron kami estudyante na graduate ng civil engineering. Tapos, nag-paint. Merong graduate ng chemical engineering. Lahat na sa nasa kabilang side Tapos nakakaya nilang i-balance Buti sana kung substandard yung trabaho nila, yung gagaling ng mga trabaho, mga paintings nila.
Talaga.
Di ba?
Hindi patas ang mundo, no?
Oo.
Pero yung
parang Cerelac at Gerber lang ata tayo nun, kaya kulang sa substandard.
wala pang probi nun di ba? Pero merong mga 'di ba? Merong mga pumupunta diyan na talagang zero yung base na knowledge sa art. May mga ganun ba? Tapos how do they fare after taking classes?
I'm very proud. May isang estudyante ako. Although I'm proud of all my students, but this particular student of mine, ang taon na ba siya? 60 plus? 64? I think
Okay.
65, gano'n. So, pumunta siya dito, wala talaga siyang alam. Talagang sabi niya, Alfred, baka matututo ba ako? Sabi ko, basta follow instructions lang. And then, as long as you know na, for example, as long as you know na ito, ang distance niya is like this, no? Hindi siya yung distance na ganyan, then it's easy for you to draw. Yun. And ngayon, she's going to have her first solo exhibit.
Wow!
Bucket list niya yan Tapos, ang galing, May pa yung show niya, natapos na niya yung 25 paintings niya noong December.
Talaga? Gaano katagal yung...
Talo pa ako nito, naka-25 paintings na.
Gaano katagal yung learning, yung span ng learning?
She took all the courses. Actually, in a span of 2 years yon. Pero yung 2 years na yon, alam mo, hindi naman sila pumapasok everyday, no? So, pasulpot-sulpot sila. But, we can say like it's a 2 years parang nag-practice talaga siya.
Okay. Talagang tinutukan niya talaga yung painting.
Wow. Ang galing. And then, mag-first solo siya. Ang ganda ng mga works niya. In fact, the whole family, wala na siya. Gulat na gulat. Parang, pinate mo yan. Actually, it's always there. At the end of the workshop, ganun lagi ang reaction ng mga students. Hindi ko akalain magawa ko to.
Well,
kumbaga sa amin, common na yan sinasabi ng mga students.
Well, from what I've seen,
the classical method is a long, kumbaga, tinanggal siya sa curriculum or tinanggal siya sa because we skip the modern art. We skip to the modern art.
Anong tawag doon sa method? Sorry. Ano yung tawag sa method ulit?
Academic method.
Academic method, okay.
So, tinanggal siya. Shadow shapes, negative, positive spaces, use only straight lines. Kasi ngayon meron na tayong gestural drawings, right?
Mhm.
Gestural drawings, may mga curves ka. Pero
Oo.
dun sa classical realism, you have to do straight lines, straight lines ka lang. Yung mga ganyan. No? So,
Uh-huh.
medyo natanggal. But they didn't know na this is actually the easiest way to draw. Kasi it's a skill development.
Oh.
I-develop yung skill mo.
Mhm.
Hanggang
So
sa
yun.
pag sobrang galing ka na sa skill mo ngayon, I see invisible lines ka na lang ganun.
Mm. How many
Yun.
how
In
many
fact, may,
how many studios in the Philippines teach the stuff that you teach?
hindi ako pa sure eh. Hindi pa
Pero
ako
konti
sure
lang,
eh.
'di ba?
Oo, konti lang sila.
'Di ba?
Konti lang ata eh. Ako meron
Oo.
kasi mga alam ko meron pang libre eh. Pero pasulpot-sulpot lang, no? And walang permanent. And this person actually came from Florence Academy of Art.
Mhm.
Pinoy.
Okay.
Estudyante talaga siya doon for 2 years. And then she's teaching it. But she's teaching it. Ang galing na nun eh. Ang galing nun. Ang galing niya. Kasi talagang tinuturo niya. But yun nga lang, wala pa akong nakitang permanent place niya.
Okay.
So,
So
nagtuturo
parang
na rin yan. Tapos, sa Davao, well, because lagi ako
yan, yan,
nandoon,
yan.
so yeah, si Koy yung ano dyan, nandyan ba
Oo.
kaya si Koy? Anyway, nag-training siya dito for 1 month.
Mhm.
So ngayon, yun ang tinuturo nila ngayon sa Davao. Sa Jensan, nag-training din sa akin yung isang artist doon. So, sa General Santos, may isang atelier na rin doon. So, yun. And actually, maganda naman yung ano eh. Maganda. Ano lang kasi, pag sinabi kasi skill-based, parang skill lang yan, walang creativity. It's not that. Eh. It's just
Mm.
saying na, of course, if you're a painter, or if you're an artist, well, at least you know how to draw.
Oo.
Kasi simula lang. Di ba? Drawing, yeah.
May wag na kasi may mga meron kasing mga nakikita kahit yung, may mga artist parang exhibit parang you would really wonder marunong kaya talaga mag-drawing tong nag-exhibit na to, 'di ba? Kasi yung parang it's very apart from realism yung yung
Yes.
images
Oo.
na
Pero
nilalagay na.
wala akong nothing against that. Yung mga
Yeah, yeah.
installation artist, pag sinasabi nila yung mga, hindi
Oo.
ako against that. In fact, um, we kumbaga um, parang, we're not a movement. Hindi kami
Mhm.
movement. Hindi kami nagsasabi. Although medyo, kasi, like, for example, even if we are a member of Art Renewal Center,
Mhm.
ang Art Renewal Center is movement eh. It's bringing back the realism eh. Ganun yung
Okay.
kanilang classical realism. Ganun yung kanilang, kaya nga art renewal, parang, let's bring it back
Ah.
what art is. Yung ganun.
Okay.
Pero kami, hindi kami ganun eh. More on, this is part of being an artist lang. Parang you have to, kung gusto mo, you can pass through this. Kung daanan mo tong stage na to. And just be an artist, anong artist man gusto mo.
Oh.
Exactly. Because yeah, it's added knowledge and it's foundation kasi a good foundation.
What would your ano pala yung ano masasabi mo about yung mga outrageous na mga exhibit pieces na that gets sold for millions of dollars na alam mo yun parang isang bato mga ganyan bato lang siya
Ah,
dinala doon you know what I'm talking about yung mga ganong
may meaning
klaseng
naman eh. May
di
meaning
ba?
naman.
O kaya parang isang red dot, 'di ba? Tapos parang kasi meron akong mga napapanood na ah, mga documentary kung saan-saan na parang scam daw yung art scene na parang may
Yeah,
mga 'di ba merong
yeah.
mga
May mafia.
oo 'di ba merong gumagawa ng mga kumbaga may
May,
nagma-manipulate just because alam mo
yeah.
yan, you know 'di ba? So anong take mo sa mga
Actually,
ganyan?
possible yun because ganun talaga eh. Even sa Philippine art scene, everybody can observe that one. Everybody knows that
Oo.
may politics din naman sa art eh. No?
Mhm.
Meron din ano. And in fact, well, going to I don't know if this is part of your topic, but
Sige.
we opened a gallery in Davao. We are also a galleries, but galleries na ganun. But
Mhm.
the thing is, it's more of when we opened that gallery, it's really just an art space. Ganun lang, no? So hindi, kumbaga, we never even have thought of na papasok kami sa art world. Ngayon, magbabraso ng kliyente, mag-market, mag-publicize ng artist, mag-focus ng ganyan. Hindi. Parang hindi namin kaya yung mga big, yung mga malalaki na nandito eh. But at least just to provide space. Ngayon, going to yung sinasabi mo nga, siguro that's one of my observations din na parang sometimes artists are entertainment. Like, may naglagay ng saging, ganun kamahal, tapos ang reaction niya is kainin yung saging. Yung gano'n, no? Yung isang artist. No? But I think
Mhm.
that's art. No? Yan yung siguro yung art doon. No? The interaction of human beings. It just makes us human being. Diba?
Mhm.
Mga social experiment daw.
But then what would the parang isang artist who took the time and all of the pains of learning how to 'di ba,
Ah,
to create
maraming
realistic na
questions
mga
din yan.
'di ba, tapos
In
parang
fact,
sila parang
yeah,
disregarded, hindi pinapansin, and then this guy brings a rock, a boulder from God knows where,
yes.
'di ba, and then makes millions. Ano 'yun?
Totoo yan.
Mm.
But actually, that's one nung we opened a gallery in Davao.
Mhm.
That's one of our observation actually. In fact, let's say Davao is a micro level of a macro level siguro.
Mhm.
Sa mas malaking art scene. Um, yeah, you can identify kung sino yung mga iba-ibang artists. No? Like yun sinasabi mo ngayon, may mga artists na talagang they give all the time.
Mm.
1 month sila gumawa ng trabaho.
Mm.
Tapos, um, sinabit nila and then sold at 30,000 or not even sold at 30,000. Minsan, hindi pa nabibenta.
Mm.
And then we have like these artists na hindi naman sila nag-aral, but it's just their hobby.
Mm.
But they have just so much friends to
Mm.
buy their works.
Oh,
And
mga
then
celebrities, 'di
right
ba?
after,
Kunyari,
uh,
'di ba? Celebrity
sorry,
ka. Let's say you're a
even
celebrity, 'di ba?
celebrities,
Mm.
yung mga ganyan, no? In fact, madami eh. Like for example, mga veteranong artists na parang sila na lang sila at laging kinukuha, yung mga ganyan,
Mhm.
at hindi napapansin yung mga, ah, madaming hinanakit yung isang grupong artist sa isang grupo or ganyan. Most especially mga true blue artists. When I say true blue artists, yung mga talaga nagpipinta na for the sake of art talaga.
Mhm.
Um, yun ang mga hinanakit nila. However, parang um, um, pwedeng mag-away-away siguro sila o magagalit yung mga artist na from fine art school na nagtitesis pa or gagawa ng artist statement dun sa mga celebrities na isang lagay lang eh parang
Oo.
tinabunan pa sila parang kumbaga ilang years kami na nag-iintay to have a show
Oo.
or sumali ng group show samantalang ito bigla na lang nilagay dyan, di ba?
Mm.
Um, but still, for me, in fact, hindi, I only got this in one of our senior artists nun. Sabi niya
Mm.
sa akin, because I complained the same thing. Yun
Okay.
yung observations ko kasi sa ano. Parang, kawawa naman itong mga ibang artist na talagang nag-aral, talagang
Mhm.
naglagay ng oras sa kanilang mga paintings. No? Um, the thing is, whatever they do, it's still art eh. Kumbaga, art pa rin yung ginawa nitong celebrity. And ang maganda lang doon is that, well, ang maganda doon is they all should coexist. Kasi magkakasama na yan lahat eh.
Mhm.
Di ba? Magko-coexist talaga dapat sila. Yun lang yung ano. So, ibig sabihin, payagan natin.
Mhm.
Payagan natin ganyan. But, the thing is, ito yung mga negative or yung mga,
Mhm.
ano. But, I think people know naman eh. I mean, sa akin nga, in the end eh, it's not about your art now eh. It's
Mhm.
about kung ano yung sasabihin ng tao sa
Yeah.
future sense about your art.
Yeah.
No?
And
Kasi,
this also applies on other art forms eh. Let's say sa mga musikero, 'di ba? Parang madaming mga galing na parang mga veterano na ng mga scenes sa music scene
yeah,
tapos biglang biglang may magko-concert si Ann Curtis na pinuno yung Araneta, di ba?
Correct.
pero pero the thing is, ano magagawa mo eh? Kasi
Banggit ang pangalan na.
may nanonood eh. Hindi, okay lang naman yun. And alam naman ni Ann Curtis yun. At saka mahal ko si Ann Curtis.
Kaya
Congratulations sa
alam
ano
mo
niya.
nila, pati yung mga artists na alam mo na celebrities.
Oo, di
In
ba?
fact, I have students here that are celebrities.
Yeah.
But, alam mo, pero makita mo talaga yung tiyaga talaga nila na, like for example, si Andrea Del Rosario, yan, isa.
Mm.
Sino ba? Si
Si
Andrea, yun.
Rachel
May mga,
Labato, di ba?
mga celebrities dito, talagang talagang sila, talagang taus-puso talaga nagpipinta at hindi sila nagsishort. Ana Capri, isa pa yun.
No.
So, si Sherry, isa pa yun. Although hindi pa sila bumabalik kasi busy na naman. But the thing is kasi hindi sila, I mean like they know their place also na they really have to really study. They really have to work hard dun sa art nila. But again, going back, it's just about how, kumbaga parang sa akin, if may isa nagsabit sa isang major art fair na parang magugulat ng tao, artist ka ba? But it's just, I think yung laban na lang dyan is how your art will be timeless. Kumbaga parang, sige, now ka lang. Ako, my art will be talked about in the future.
Yung latest, yung isang recent na ganyan, yung kay di ba? Yung kay Richard Gomez, di ba? Gumawa siya ng, tapos
yun,
di ba? But then, wala
ay, controversial yun sa amin sa Davao.
Talaga? Bakit?
Ha?
Bakit?
Kasi, meron kaming, it's the same, group, no? Well, syempre, sakit ng loob ng mga artist. Na-censor yung aming, kasi the same organizer, nung, and yung sa amin naman, na-censor. Yung, may artist kami na gumawa na ethics.
Okay.
Ethics talaga. So, nung pinakita namin, ganyan-ganyan, pinababa, sinensor.
Talaga?
No? Sa Davao. Ngayon, same organizer din ng art fair na yun. Hindi sinensor kay Richard Gomez.
Wow! Oo nga, no? Ganun pala.
Although, ang sinasabi nila is that kasi yung pagkagawa nung artist nung Davao, sobrang realistic. Actually, yun ethics, tapos saging. Okay. Tapos dalawang ethics na nagsasayaw. Dalawang ethics na nagsasayaw na saging sa baba. So parang pinil na saging, tapos, ethics mo as nagsasayaw.
Okay.
Tapos basta parang parang banana politics, tango, ganun ang nung artist yung kanyang
message.
May concept siya.
Kanyang concept.
Okay, may ganun pala. So,
na-censor yun. So, although, ang sabi nila, kasi mukha talagang ethics. Yung kay Richard Gomez naman, graphic na ginagawa.
Graphic.
But still, mga ethics pa rin yun.
It's still the same.
Parang ang difference ngayon, mas realistic to, kaya sinensor. Yung sa kanya, hindi sinensor. Pero sa kanya, yeah, right.
Diba?
Parang, naman, mas may konsepto to. College of Fine Arts graduate to. Yung sa
At saka art yan eh, 'di ba? At the end of the day, it's still paint on canvas. Both of them, 'di ba? Minanipulate lang nung artist kung anong itsura. And well, syempre, tapos syempre Richard Gomez yun. Pero as kung mag for me naman kasi parang yung mga kumbaga wag ka na lang mainggit, 'di ba? Kasi may clout talaga yung mga may clout talaga yung mga celebrity eh. If you're gonna kung magmumukmuk ka, you're just you're just doing yourself a disservice. Wala and also Richard Gomez had been around, gumawa naman siya ng mga movies na yung iba okay naman, 'di ba? So he deserved this his celebrity status, and part of that would be mga ganyang mga perks, 'di ba? So I don't know, maybe it's not parang parang utopian aspiration na ganun ang mangyayari sa art world, pero
Yeah.
it's not
At least may
ganun talaga eh.
pinag-uusapan.
Mm.
Ang boring naman ng art pag wala nang pinag-uusapan.
Oo nga eh, 'di ba? Well, the same thing with Ann Curtis and yung mga concerts niya, 'di ba? Kumbaga sold out talaga yung buong ano eh. Si Vice ganda pag nag concert yan sa ano. Samantalang yung madaming mga galing na musikero sa sa mga bars,
Wala.
hindi makapuno, walang nanonood, 'di ba? Pero ganun eh. They have their kumbaga they built their clout and they work decades din naman to achieve that level. So, let's give it to them. Parang ganun. Wag ka na lang if you're an artist and yun yung magiging mentality mo na 'di ba? Parang that's a losing mentality if you're gonna compare yourself to these people. Yun, I think yun yung
Okay yan, para diverse. And again, mag-coexist na lang tayo. Kasama na natin sila sa art world.
Yeah, oo nga.
Total, may critics naman. Yung mga ano naman, pwede naman natin tirahin. Pwede din naman
Yeah,
nila tayo
totoo.
tirahin.
Diba? We
Yung
can
mga
make fun of
nagpapaganda
them.
sa art eh. Yung
Oo.
tirahan.
Okay ba yung ano? How about your let's talk about your team naman. Kasi parang
My team.
how did you build your team? Na parang kasi
Actually,
nakakatawa yung team niyo.
well, some murals artists come and go. In fact, I'm proud pa nga because, a lot of artists na sikat na ngayon somehow rumakit din sa amin.
Si Jessa, pakita ka nga, Jessa. Ayaw.
Like, for example, sino ba? Basta maraming artist actually na sikat na sila ngayon na first and yeah, and it's kasi sa murals it's really organization talaga. It's you cannot work by yourself. You have to work with other people. You have to work. So yeah, and ngayon, yung team ko ngayon are sa murals, mga business partners ko are actually mga interior one interior designer, which is si Ina Valencia. She's from PSID.
Oh, yeah.
And then another one is an interior design graduate sa UP. So, dalawa sila ngayon yung partners ko. So, it's basically a marriage of fine arts and interior design yung murals. No? And then, sa Galvez Atelier naman, mga kasama ko, mga team ko, mga teachers na two from UP, si Ross Den, at saka si John, and then one from St. Benilde, si Abby. And then others are mga freelance teachers like si Angelica, she's from St. Benilde. Tapos si Wanda from UP. So yun. And Tony from TUP. So yeah. PUP. PUP. TUP. Ayun. So yeah, yun sila, very young sila lahat. And
so
talaga,
what are the courses that Galvez Atelier offers? Right. To those who are interested, diba? Kasi this is
dalawa yung main course namin dito is the classical drawing workshop, basic. Classical drawing workshop is 12 sessions, 10 sessions siya, 3 hours per session. And then open schedule. Pag sinabi namin open schedule siya, ibig sabihin, pwede kang pumunta. It's a flexi schedule. So we designed this actually for students na nag-work or yung mga tipong kailangan hindi sila makapasok regularly. So yeah, we have classical drawing basic. We have the classical drawing basic is based on the sight and size method. It's a bar method, no? Wherein kokopyahan sila 2D yung ginagawa nila, no? Ang kinokopya nila is 2D. Then we have the classical drawing intermediate, which is focused on life model. So meron silang plaster cast drawing, meron silang portrait drawing, at saka meron din silang nude model drawing. So that's classical intermediate drawing. Tapos the third is traditional oil painting. Traditional oil painting, ang mag-cover niyan is, of course, sketching in oils, um, yung alla prima, which is yung one sitting mo lang gagawin.
Oo.
You have limited palette. You have grisaille. Grisaille yung gray colors lang. Then after grisaille, scumbling and a bit of glazing method. So yun yung main courses namin. Other courses are yung mga courses ni Michael Britton, which is yung Flemish ba? Elements of Harmony, mga
Dami pala,
Rembrandt
no?
style. Yung style ng isang master, yun ang process na gagawin namin. So for example, yung recent, yung style ni Velasquez? Hindi.
Rembrandt.
Yung pinakabago namin ngayon kay Britton is Rembrandt. So yung style ni Rembrandt, yun ang i-apply sa painting. So kay Britton, it's more of kung ano yung process ng classical master, yun yung gagawin natin.
Okay.
Pero yung mag-mix-mix ng colors, yung mag-grind yung mga natural colors, pero yung gano'n. Yeah. Yun. Tapos we have watercolor. Kay Wanda, she teaches watercolor. Si Angelica teaches live portrait and live painting. Live drawing and painting. Yeah.
Pinapakita ko ngayon yung video nung kay instructor Ross Dennery. Drawing demo.
Oo, galing yan.
Can you explain?
Well, UP, ano pa yan? Estudyante pa yan.
Can you explain what he's doing? Can you explain what he's doing lang? Parang
that's the classical drawing basic namin. The Barg method. Ang sight and size, when you say sight and size, what you see on your reference, dapat parang ka nag-Xerox.
Yan yung sinasabi mo. Yan yung sinasabi mo kanina. Yan yung technical way to draw.
Yes. Talagang you really have to observe every angle ng ginagawa ng lines. You have to observe yung tonal values, how kung gaano ka siya ka-dark, gaano siya light. You have to compare. You have to look at the shadow shapes, the negative and positive spaces. Ano yan? Actually, madali lang mag-drawing sa totoo lang. I mean, no. I mean, pag siyempre sabihin, kasi matagal ka na mag-drawing. Hindi, kasi madali lang siya ito. Kailangan lang konting immersion. Kailangan lang. That's why we designed actually the 10 session workshop. Para in the end, the artist would know how to draw. At least man lang na parang, in fact, hindi na sila stick drawing talaga, as in may volume na may ganito na. And then yung drawing course is actually, in fact, lagi nga namin sinasabi, we're not actually teaching you how to draw, we're teaching you how to observe. It's more of like that. Because lahat, I mean, hindi naman to drawing technique na kuha ka ng charcoal, ganito yung effect, or ganito yung effect. Hindi. Our materials are just simple graphite and eraser, yun lang. Kasi we teach the student to observe. It's actually not teaching to draw, but teaching to observe. No? Yun yung namin.
Could you say that you are actually teaching the instinct on how to draw? Parang ganun ba yung
parang nilalabas namin yung instinct ng how to draw ng isang student?
Or of a person, sa mga tao.
Of a person.
Kung ano yung yung
because
mental
actually,
process.
We learned how to draw before we write. Diba?
Oo nga, no?
Scribble naman muna tayo. Hindi naman malo tayo nagsusulat. Diba? So, it's just a matter of, kasi meron dyan late bloomers. Like, I have students na talagang, late bloomer siya.
Okay.
May iba naman talagang sobrang galing na. At ipapolish na lang namin. Yung gano'n. Most of them naman are mga students na talagang they are practicing. They want to practice. They want to be better sa field nila. But yeah, it's I think almost all can draw.
Hmm.
Yun yung ano.
Para kang si Chef ano yun? Chef Boyar, hindi chef. Yung sa Ratatouille, 'di ba? Anong pangalan ng chef doon? 'Di ba? Everybody can cook. 'Di ba? Parang
Everybody can. Almost all lang sinasabi ko kasi meron talagang kung hindi mo interest, hindi talaga.
Mm.
It starts with an interest. Pag meron kang, alam mo, ito pa kayo namin sinasabi namin pag kunwari may nag-inquire. Um, Sir, anong dadalhin namin?
Okay. Anong
Ang sagot
dadalhin?
namin, anong dadalhin namin ng materials? Ganyan.
Okay.
Sabi namin, all materials are provided. Just bring your passion.
Oh, ano pa? Parang pick-up line na. Pa, pa, parang pick-up line nun. Just
But
bring your
totoo yun.
passion.
Kasi,
Mm.
I mean, kung wala kang passion, wala talaga. Because may nakikita kami, merong skill, may
Mhm.
talent. To, minsan nagdo-drawing, nag-YouTube, di ba?
Nako,
Parang,
okay.
ako pa naman yung tipong teacher na ano, pag wala kang patience, wala din akong patience sa'yo.
Oh, okay.
Ganun ako. Pag
Hmm.
nakikita ko patient ka, talagang tinatsiga mo, ay, lalabas yung patience ko sa'yo. Pero pag wala kang patience, wala din akong patience sa'yo.
Hmm. Ayaw mag-load nung isang video, nakakainis eh. Ito isa
Anong isang video?
yung kanina hindi natapos eh, yung kay yung unang sinabi
Kinos
ko.
din.
This one parang charcoal na video naman to.
Ayan,
Pa,
gawa ko ata yan. Gawa ko yan.
uh, ito parang
Yeah. Yan is the
ano naman ginagawa mo
subtractive
dito?
method. Subtractive method. Alam mo, in fact, pag you know classical drawing,
Mhm.
at classically trained ka, yung mga
Okay.
ganito, you don't have to sketch anymore. Kaya nga yung tinatawag namin, you see invisible lines na. So parang
Oh.
automatic na naka-plot sa'yo kung ano yung mga angles, mga lines. And then, this is the subtractive method. Kung mapapansin mo, wala naman talaga siyang sketch, but all I'm looking at actually are the shadow shapes, the light shapes, yung negative space, yung
Mhm.
shape ng ilaw, and yung shape ng shadow. Yun lang
Okay.
ginagawa. Kaya subtractive method siya. But actually, um, ang technique dyan, ang maganda sa classical drawing kasi, is you're actually looking at the abstraction of shapes to create the realism.
Okay.
Ganun. So, actually, this is the difference between illustration. Pag sinasabi namin illustration kasi, you illustrate. Like, for example, you illustrate an eye. Eye talaga siya. Kumpleto
Mhm.
siya. May eyelid siya, may
Oo.
pupil siya, etc. Ganyan. Pero
Okay.
ang classical realism drawing, hindi. It's more of you're looking at the uh, abstraction of shapes
Mhm.
to
Parang
create the
suggestions
realism.
lang. Suggestions lang yung mga, 'di
Kaya
ba?
mukha siyang impressionist ang dating. Pero
Oo.
hindi siya sa impressionism side. Kasi there is a real imitation of real. There is realism in dyan sa artwork. So ito is a practice on negative spaces, negative and positive spaces. Ibig sabihin, binubura lang namin,
Mhm.
subtractive method
Kaya
lang.
nga
And concentrate
subtractive.
kami sa shape. Hindi namin tinitingnan na, ay, mata yan, and mata should look like this. Hindi
Oo.
ganon. Or ilong should
Ah.
look like this. Yung tinitingnan na namin, the shape of the abstract looks like this.
Pero may model ka dito or
I know that's
reference?
okay. One of our practice is actually what we call the copy the master practice. Ito is a copy master the practice. We get
Ah,
a work of a
print
master, then
print
we
out.
copy it.
Okay.
Strokes.
Kaninong master to? Sinong master tong?
Fabega.
Okay.
Kalimutan ko na. Fabega.
I see. Okay.
Yung-
So parang so tama nga yung sinabi mo. Is this part of the lessons na ano? Parang you
Yes, part ng lessons yan. Part
so
siya ng lesson. Looking at the abstraction to create realism.
oh, Stig.
And that was done only in 17 minutes.
Talaga?
Classical drawing, is also helpful sa mga watercolorist. Because ang watercolorist actually, nagbo-blocking yan sila. Minsan nga, ayaw mo na mag-sketch sa kasi ayaw mong sirain yung papel mo. Di ba? Minsan pag mag-sketch ka masyado dun sa papel mo,
Oo nga.
erase ka na erase, nasisira mo yung paper mo. Unless you sketch it on a tracing paper and then it's a transfer mo. But the thing is, I have a watercolor demo dyan that there is no sketch at all. Kasi I'm just looking at the shadow shapes. Yung shapes lang ang tinitingnan ko. So, when you learn classical drawing and you practice it, practice methods. Actually, hindi ka na mag-sketch. In fact, ang sketching mo lang, in fact, we don't call it sketching, we call it mark making. Ang mark making is just you do your marks, the height, ganyan-ganyan ka lang. Mark ka lang. Ganun. And then, proceed ka na sa blocking. Sa oil painting, ganun eh. Lalo na ala prima. Ala prima kasi, like for example, live model. May live model dyan. Kukupain mo yung live model. You use your oils. No? Siyempre, in 3 hours, dapat tapos ka na. So, yun. May basic marking ka lang ganon. After your basic marking, titingnan mo na agad yung big shapes, like your shadow shapes. Tapos blocking na yun. Diba? Yung separation of light and dark. Actually, that's also the practice of classical realism, the chiaroscuro. You separate the light and the dark. Yun lang tinitingnan mo, the light and the dark. So, light lang tinitingnan mo, how the lights are shaped, and then titingnan mo din how the darks are shaped. And parang yin yan. Ibig sabihin, kung tama yung dark mo, yung shape ng dark mo, tama din yung shape ng light mo. Hindi imposible yung mali, tama yung shape ng dark mo, tapos mali yung shape ng light mo. So, imposible yun.
Oo.
In a more simpler way pa, is that look at pop art. Remove all the colors, makita mo lang yung line, yung drawing, na shadow shape. Diba? Yung black lang. Yung black lang ng, Andy Warhol Marilyn Monroe, tanggalin mo lahat ng colors, yung black lang.
Okay. Pop art. Okay, I see.
Sa pop art. So, that's shadow shapes. Basically, ito lang. Itimin mo lang yan. Itimin mo yun nandito. Itimin mo yun nandito. I-darken mo yun nandito. That's the shadow shape. So, the shadow, and then the rest of that is light. Parang yun yan. If you have the correct shape of the shadow, then you have the correct shape of the light. So, ngayon, when you draw, actually, you look at both the negative and the positive spaces. You don't only add. You also subtract. Kasi minsan, pag nagkakamali yung mga ibang students, dagdag sila. Kamali sila ulit, dagdag na naman sila. Dagdag nila, nire-retoke hanggang lumaki na yung figure nila. Ganun na nangyayari. So, they need to use both. Add and subtract. Add, subtract.
Ito, si Angelica to, di ba?
Ito, si Angelica.
Oil painting. Grabe. So,
Ay, oo. Galing yan.
Check out her Instagram, Angelica Regales.
Yeah. Angelica is a graphic artist also. In fact, he's more, kumbaga parang, yung application nila. Ang maganda, actually, 3 of the teachers here are graphic artists, no? Si Angelica, si Abby Manuel, and si John. Si John Marie kasi is Viscom, UP Viscom. So silang tatlo actually are all graphic artists. And then they apply the same yung foundations nila sa classical, ina-apply nila sa graphics.
Ito may peer critic pa.
Yeah. Yung tinatawag namin peer critic na yan, it's actually yung mga students, they criticize each other's work sa workshop.
Okay. Pero, sino yung nagsasalita na students lahat yan? O may...
Estudyante lahat yan.
Okay.
Parang, so ano yan, round, iikot yan sila. Like for example, yung work ng isang student. So lahat ng mga students would critique his work.
Ginagawa din ba yung Ginagawa din ba yan dun sa Art Renewal Center? Mga ganyan? Yung mga ganyang activity?
Hindi sa Art Renewal Center. Siguro ginagawa ng mga ibang schools din yan. Of course, ginagawa nila. But itong sa amin, ginagawa yan kasi we have a yearly intensive class. Yung intensive class actually, ginagawa namin every summer here sa Manila at sa Davao. You have 20 days, no? 20 whole days, wala kang gagawin kundi drawing and painting.
Oh,
Whole day
wow.
yan. From 9 to 5 yan. Talagang magpipinta ka na, magdodrawing ka na, magdodrawing. We call it the intensive class. Yung intensive workshop na yan, actually, kasama yan, peer critic.
Oh, cool. Ang babata pa yan ng mga estudyante na to.
Karamihan mga bata. Meron kami mga ano din eh, mga...
Yung isa mukhang, ito, itong lalaki mukhang ano eh. Totoy na totoy pa itsura. buti pa tong mga ano, mga estudyante mo, parang marunong tumanggap ng critic, 'di ba? Yung ibang mga ano, yung mga ibang mga artist, lalo na sa comics,
correct.
konting mapuna mo lang yung konting mapuna mo lang yung drawing, buta tampurot to the max na talaga eh. Talagang isusumpa ka na eh, 'di ba? At least nakakatawa lang, 'di ba? konting may masita ka lang na konti. Pero well, it's a good practice din naman to be
hurt
able to.
Agad na hurt.
Well, pero yung iba naman kasi parang biglang hihirit out of the blue kung nasa Facebook lang tapos biglang di mo man kilala. Pero anyway, it's always good practice to be able to at least listen to other artists
yeah, actually,
views
in
na
fact,
ano.
in fact, dapat sa students namin, dapat talaga i-develop yun. Yung criticism. And not only kasi yung about criticizing your work, it's also about criticizing others' works. Kasi dun ka natututo eh. Di ba? Pag kunwari, di ba, hindi lang yung kunwari yung advantages na natatanggap nung nakikriticize. It's actually also you criticizing the things, kasi it's analysis basically. You're analyzing someone else's work. It's just like when you go to a gallery, ina-analyze mo yung trabaho ng isang artist o isang master. Kaya pala niya ginawa tong linya na to, ganyan. So it's more of also when you look at the painting of, you criticize other people's work, it's actually also yung naging sharp ka rin on maging meticuloso, looking at how to improve. No? It's not just like yung receiver na 50%. Diba? Kaya ikot yan. Kuwari, sa'yo ikikritik, but you have 8 others to criticize. So, mas 8 times ka ngayon magdadal, di ba? And then isang beses ka lang makatanggap ng ganun. So,
pero may okay naman. How do your
wala namang
okay naman
violent.
Okay.
No, because they are there as students. Kaya madali lang mag-criticize, madali lang silang mag-ganyan-ganyan. Pero pag yung tipong, alam mo yun, artist to artist na, yung mga ganyan.
Oo nga, no? Sa gallery. Oo nga, no?
Doon na yun.
Well, I think yung mga artist, isa sa mga isa talaga sa mga sensitive ng mga tao, yung mga artist eh. Especially if you talk about, di ba? Kahit musikero yan, kahit, di ba? Pag merong, especially yung mga hindi mo naman na mga unsolicited na mga puna, 'di ba? Parang di ba?
Tanggapin mo yan. At saka tingnan mo rin kung sino yung nagpupuna. Kung nagpupuna ba naman, di ba? Parang wala ka namang alam. Babaw naman ang puna mo. Ba't ka pa affected, di ba? Hindi ka na.
Oo nga, no.
Tapos ipa-feeling mo pa na matalino siya. Pero sa loob-loob mo lang. Alam eh. Ano ba di ba? Parang tapos na usapan na, galing talaga.
Oo nga naman. Hindi ko naisip yan Pero tama yun. So, ayos. Magana tayo? 2 hours na tayo.
Uy, nga ba?
Oo nga eh. So, teka, mamaya meron pang back to back yung episodes ko ngayon eh. So,
nga pala, 10:30, no?
hindi, ano pa siya? Baka mga 11. Teka Teka, biglang pumasok aso ko. Oh, tumayo ka muna dito. Anyway,
Pero
so,
congrats, Gerald. Ha?
okay, congrats to you too. More, kasi nakikita ko parang super, basta ang ganda ng mga ng mga ginagawa mo, and I think booming ang business. Ngayon, parang nasa Davao ka pa. Parang you are, parang dalawang, you're relevant here
Uh,
and also there, di ba? So,
yeah. Yeah, actually, pag ganun-ganun ako sa Davao.
oo nga eh.
Yeah.
Kala ko nga nandun ka ngayon
But
eh.
I was born there.
Mm-hmm.
And I left when I was 12. Although my family is there. Ano pa yung mom ko.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, when I think that was 5 years ago, I decided to set up a gallery.
Oo nga eh. Nagmakiling ka ba?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sa
So
Makiling.
you've been leading living the life as of an artist from the, 'di ba?
Oo nga eh. Hindi ko alam kung ano. Parang wala ka ng choice. By 12 years old, wala ka ng
Oh.
choice. Kundi maging artist.
Sanay ka sa studio setup. Kumbaga parang yun yung parang natural habitat mo na, 'di ba? Kasi
Sanay na rin sa ermitanyo mode, sanay sa
oh,
quarantine mode.
oo nga eh, kaya parang walang parang anong quarantine na parang wala masyadong nagbago sa mga buhay natin unless
Ng
kailangan mo
artist.
lumabas. Although illusion lang yun, madaming nagbago sa buhay lalo na sa
Yeah.
labas. And
But yeah, since 12 years old actually.
mhm.
So, although I started drawing na by 10, 11 years old.
Mhm.
11, yeah, mga ganun. Then, nagkaseryosohan na when I was 12. So, ayun, taong bundok kami. So, doon ako tumira sa bundok ng Makiling.
No, buti pinayagan ka ng parents mo na umisplit. Tapos kasi nasa
Well,
Davao ka
that
eh.
time, no, because that time, sobrang uh, martial law. Well, hindi naman martial law days pa pala nun. Because EDSA was 86.
Oo.
85 ako pumasok ng high school. So, basically, Marcos era pa yun. And, syempre, Davao, martial law days ng Davao, my God, parang supposed to be the next communist province in that time, kung hindi lang ng revolution.
Talaga? Whoa.
Yeah, and
didn't know
alam mo
that.
yun, and sa amin was, well, don't quote me on that because I only heard
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Sa mga kwentong Davao, alam mo naman kwentong Davao. But pero totoo yan because doon naman ang parang naging seat ng assassinations, parang doon nagpa-practice muna ang mga NPA.
I see.
Bago sila mag-assassinate dito sa Manila during that time. Magulo doon, sobrang gulo. So, when I had the scholarship, in fact, yun yung pinupush ng dad ko talaga sa amin, sa whole families. Mag-scholar kayo, Philippine Science, Philippine High School for the Arts. Although ako talaga sa parang namilit lang ako na mag-arts. Ayaw naman ng dad ko kasi pang-burgis lang daw yan. Art ka, pang-burgis lang yan. But anyway, yeah, since 12 years old, so parang ilang taon na ako sa art. Parang parang at the age of 12, you made a choice na.
Oh,
diba? Ganun ka.
Well, at least a lot of people do not have that luxury. Kumbaga tumanda na, hindi pa rin 50 anyos na, hindi pa rin nila alam kung anong gustong gawin sa buhay, di ba? May mga ganung tao di ba? Para at least
but it's either or, no? Parang siguro parang ako naman parang hindi na ako masyado siguro nakapag-explore. But although I'm exploring na ngayon at my age, although I mean, anyway, naalala ko lang yung discussion natin kanina when some artists would complain na itong artista na to, nag-paint lang, tapos biglang sikat na agad, hindi yan, no? 1 year, 2 years lang yan. Ano pa kaya kami or ako, since 12 years old?
Oo nga, di ba?
And then, alam mo yun, and then if I see their prices, ba't di ako makapag-presyo ng ganyan?
Pwede naman, ang problema, pero ikaw pa, I think your prices are quite up there already.
Ay, hindi naman. Hindi pa naman. Hindi, well, I don't know. Anyway, going back, sabi ko na para maiwasan na. Going back, hindi, but the thing is kasi, wala naman akong complaints na parang aawain mo, i-complain mo,
Oo.
sa kanila. But the thing is kasi, what they're doing is, it's also something. Ayaw tawaging art, no? It's also something.
Oo. Something special, di ba?
Something to talk about.
Well, it's
Yeah.
something that
So,
that 99% of the population cannot do. Or more or less, di ba? Mga ganun eh. Or maybe more or less siguro ganun at the top level kasi konti lang talaga yung mga nakakagawa ng who would give exert the effort to reach that top level na ano na tier di ba? So and pag na-reach mo 'yon, ibig sabihin you have poured everything, 'di ba? Walang one night success na na pintor.
correct.
I don't know. Kung
Walang one
meron
night
man
success.
talagang sobrang swerte ng taong 'yun.
Okay.
At saka
Pero
pag one night success na yan, mababaw ka.
oo, 'di ba? 'Di ba?
Hindi ka magla-last.
'Di
Ang
ba?
kailangan natin mag-last.
Yun, kumbaga parang flash in the pan ka lang, hindi ka yung kasi yung longevity ang magde-determine yan is your is your ability to keep up yung ginagawa mo to keep working and to keep creating
Correct.
and kung parang ano ka lang, ba parang sumali ka lang sa Big Brother, 'di ba? Hindi mo nakilala yung ibang lahat ng mga sumali sa Big Brother although hindi man ako nakikinig. Nanonood nun. Pero you know what I mean? Parang ganun. Parang 15 minutes of fame lang yung mangyayari sa iyo. Pero yung mga
Correct.
magbibigay ng attention at magdedicate ng buhay nila to certain crafts, sila yung mga magtatagal.
Pero ito yung challenge kay Richard Gomez.
Okay.
What's next?
Ayun! Tama. Tama.
O, di abangan ka namin. Total, di ba? Total,
Oo.
may controversial art ka na. O, sige. Anong
Oo,
next mo?
ano.
Abangan ka namin. Ano yun? And who knows? Di ba?
Malay
Who
mo,
knows?
di ba?
Who knows? Mag-enroll siya dito.
Oo. Tanungin natin. May message ko si Richard Gomez, di ba? Richard Gomez, ano?
Pero, what's next?
Mm.
So, yun. Pero pag kuwari, isa lang yung ginawa niya, ngayon lang siya nagganyan-ganyan. What tayo believe?
No. That's a good point. Yeah. And that's yun yung sinasabi ko, 'di ba? Na parang flash in the pan ka lang if you're not gonna parang wala ka ng kasunod, 'di ba? Wala ka ng sequels dun sa mga ano mo. That would only prove na parang it's not what you really are. Hindi ka talaga pintor.
Yeah.
Hindi si Richard Gomez, that's just you single him out right now kasi siya yung recent example 'di ba? This could be anyone else, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Na ganun.
Yeah.
And kumbaga it's kumbaga celebrity siya na apparently nagpipinta and then may nabalitaang exhibit. At least that's how what it seems like to somebody na hindi ko man alam kung nangyayari, 'di ba? Parang ganun. Let's see. Ayos.
Hintayin natin. Hintayin natin. Malay mo, nagpipinta yun, no? Ngayon.
Malay mo, kasi wala naman siyang ginagawa siguro, di ba?
Oo.
O kaya baka...
Malay mo, nagpipinta siya.
Dami naman siyang trip eh. So, yun. So what's next for Galvez Atelier and Micra Fox? Micra Fox? What?
Siya yung mga ganito yung parang fall finishes actually.
Yan yung di ba? Yung sinasabi ko illusion kunyari wall lang siya, gusto mong lagyan ng view, di ba? Yun yung nakakatuwa eh. Wow.
Para sa mga walls to. So hand-painted.
Hand-painted na parang vinyl tiles, parang ganun, di ba? Kasi pati yung mga moldings, gumagawa ka ng mga ganun, di ba?
Oo, yung mga illusions. So yun. Well, Galvez Atelier, kasi right now yung mga, we're building new curriculum also na, like, hindi pa namin maayos-ayos, perfect pa yung mga anatomy figure drawing class, no? At saka yung, we have other oil painting techniques pa kasi napapasok din. So, yeah, inaayos pa namin yung curriculum. And then, yung mga old curriculum naman namin, medyo tinitweak na namin, binabago namin ulit. Kasi we really have to, um, adjust. Kasi when teaching kasi, doon namin nag-discover actually yung mga iba't ibang klase ng mga students, no? So as how we can make it really very general, yung pagtuturo namin can be applied to different students, ibang purpose nila or ibang ano nila. So yeah, continuous kami mag-improve or not, iti-tweak namin yung mga curriculum pa rin. So yung mga original curriculum namin medyo may konting pagbabago, most especially pag may bago kami natututunan. So sometimes meron kami tinatanggal, meron kami so yeah, we keep on improving our curriculum. That's and then of course mga activities dito sa atelier, like mga live drawing, mga live sa Mikra naman, sa murals, we're doing this. If you can go actually sa sa page ko na Filipino.
Philippine.
Filipino, F-I-L-I.
Teka.
Filipino.
Filipino? Filipino?
Filipino, tapos Filipino. I-S-E-R-I.
Okay.
We're developing mga designs actually for murals also na elements are Filipiniana, but it doesn't mean na it will look like a Filipiniana interior design or a Filipiniana design. So ibig sabihin, merong mga French style pero elements ng Filipino ang ilalagay namin. So,
yeah.
So mga ganun, no? So, for example, Art Deco. So, Art Deco, gagawa kami ng Filipiniana na Art Deco. So, it's still Art Deco, pero Filipino motifs ang ilalagay namin. Or Art Nouveau. Yung mga ganun. It's more of different designs, and even contemporary designs, but may Filipino motif. Like, for example, for a time na uso yung there is this project of mine before na nauso yung mga minimal design ng parang ink wash ng cherry blossoms, diba?
Okay.
Ink wash, so there's a wall, parang ink wash na cherry blossoms. So pinapalitan namin yon. Same pa rin, ink wash, mukha pa rin siyang zen ang itsura, mukha pa rin siyang minimal ang itsura. Pero gagawin namin kalachuchi. Yung flowers. So gano'n. So it's maintaining pa rin yung design, but ini-inject mo na yung Filipiniana elements. So
ganda nito. Ganda itong style na to. Ano tawag dito sa mga letters na to?
Letras figuras. Although yan,
letras figuras.
although yan, matagal na ginagawa yan ng mga artists noon.
Diba?
Turn of the century ata. Turn of the century ginagawa.
Uso yan dati,
ginagawa
diba?
nila yung mga politiko no? Mga pangalan ng mga politiko, mga pangalan ng mga families. But I think that's Art Deco hindi, umabot siya sa Art Deco ata. Yung ganyang style. Pero there's this artist yung Erte sa ERTE sa mga fashion.
Okay.
Makikita mo yung mga letters tapos nag-perform ng mga tao. So,
ganda.
letras figuras, tapos marami pa actually dyan sa mga designs na. Pero doon kami naka-focus ngayon.
Pero yung prints ba to? Parang parehas yung design nung
may nagbebenta rin sila ng prints niya.
Okay. I see. Galing. Ngayon lang ulit ako nakita. Bala kong gumawa ng ganito
Ah,
sana
matagal.
pero Avengers. Mga characters, 'di ba? Pero parang
Pwede.
nakakatamad.
Meron akong trabaho niyan 1990 nasa Casa Acusar sa
Sa
Bataan.
mhm.
Tama, Casa Acusar sa Bataan.
Mhm.
Hindi pa
Hindi
ako
ko alam.
napunta doon eh.
Ayun, alam
Pero
ko
may
na kung
trabaho ko doon.
ano. Talaga?
Ano,
Yung
Las Casas.
Las Casas.
Las Casas, so.
May trabaho ko doon na dated 1994. Dated
Wow,
1994, Jerry Acuzar ang letras figuras.
talaga? Ah,
Yeah.
ayos. Ito
Nandoon
ba?
yun nakalagay na Jerry Acuzar. Yeah, Jerry Acuzar. Or Acuzar lang. Acuzar lang ata. Ayun. Way back 1994. Ginawan ko siya eh. Ginawan ko siya ng letras figuras.
Mhm.
May-ari ng Las Casas.
Catriona. Ayos ah. Galing. Nakakatuwa. It's parang I think konti lang nakakaalam nung nung style na yan na ginagawa na uso dati.
Mm. Yung ginagawa nila noon.
No.
Damian Domingo illustrations.
Si nung January bumalik ako sa National Museum. Nakakatuwa talaga yung mga yung mga gawa ng mga masters ng mga sina Solo, 'di ba? Sina what's his name? Yung
Hidalgo.
sculptor. Yan.
You know, my first job actually, na art job, was I assisted in the restoration and conservation ng mga paintings. So, dumaan sa amin talaga mga Juan Lunas, pero mga private collections. Mga Juan Lunas, Amor Solos. I was 17 pa noon, Botong Francisco. So, yun ang mga ni-restore namin noon.
Talaga? Dinut-dut niyo yung mga yun?
Ha? As in dumaan. In fact, may Salvador Dali pa nga dumaan sa amin na, lithographs. Pero hand sign niya.
Talaga?
Paints siya, pero hand sign niya. But it's yun, mismo, yung lithograph.
Anong pakiramdam na ayos, parang papakialaman mo yung
Hindi, kasi syempre nakikita mo yung master's works. Tapos, syempre, pag may mga chip off, nakikita mo yung proseso.
Oo.
Nakikita mo yung likod ng kanyang canvas. Tapos, of course, yung mentor namin was an apprentice of Botong Francisco, Manansala. And pag nag-authenticate siya or pag nag-ano siya ng mga paintings, may kasamang kwento yon. So, kaya may Botong Francisco kami na painting. Kukwentuhan niya, yan, si Botong, yan, kaya ganyan yung painting niya kasi mahilig siya sa tinapa, mahilig siya sa mga ganito. Anyway, yun yung So, nag-restore kami noon. Nag-restore kami ng mga artworks. There were artworks na doubtful kami, but ni-restore pa rin namin though. Doubtful, when you say doubtful, na hindi kami sure kung yun ba talaga yung artist na yung gumawa na yan.
I see.
So, may mga ganon. So, lahat mga from nice Amor Solos to latak Amor Solos.
Talaga, may mga latak.
Latak. No, kasi, alam mo yun, syempre may time naman talaga naging commercial si Amor Solo.
Oo nga. Nag-comics lang din si Amor Solo, di ba? May mga comics na gawa siya eh.
Oh!
Di ba?
Di ba siya yung San Miguel? Jean?
Oo.
Yung label din, di ba?
Oo, yun.
Gawa niya yun, di ba?
Oo nga. Sa Ginebra. Yung Ginebra.
Tapos may nakita rin kaming mga Amor Solos na doubtful kami. Yung mga ganun. Maraming pa yan.
So yun muna.
Alright.
Alfred. Maraming salamat
Thank
sa
you.
oras. Maraming salamat at
thank you din sa mga nanood.
Yeah.
And more power, Gerald.
Same. Basta magkita tayo pagkatapos nitong mga pangyayari na nangyayari ngayon and basta nandiyan ka pala, madali lang kitang puntahan diyan, 'di ba?
Oo.
Next time mag-podcast tayo diyan sa sa lugar nyo. Tuloy natin yung
original. Tapos schedule natin studio tour.
Oo nga, yun.
Ganda may action.
Invite mo na lang yung mga yung mga nanonood or
teachers?
yung mga makakapanood yung mga makakapanood nito to check out your
Sure.
studio, 'di ba?
Sure.
Sige.
Sure. No problem.
Invite mo. Saan nila
Okay. Ngayon. Akala ko, i-invite ko pagkatapos nito.
saan nila matatagpuan, yung mga ganyan.
Okay. Sorry. Well, ano ba, invite ko sila na pumunta dito.
Wag pagkatapos ng wag muna
Wag
ngayon.
Huwag ngayon, bawal. Ano tayo yan? No, actually, yeah, you can come here. We're open Mondays, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays. Tapos, you can
Saan yung
actually,
address?
free to observe kayo. Number 811 Jamboree. Malapit lang to sa GMA 7. So, yeah.
Yung sa Davao.
From EDSA, GMA 7, left kayo sa Jamboree. And then, ang landmark namin, may burger machine kami sa tabi.
Burger machine.
Hindi kami nagkukulong dito.
Oo.
May burger machine kami. At puno ng halaman ng studio. So, yeah. Number 811 Jamboree. And then, if you can also visit our website, www.galvezatelier.com.
Sa Davao.
And yung sa Davao, sa Art Portal Gallery, it's in 115 Pelayo Street, Davao City. So it's a nice gallery actually. One of the few doon. Mapunta kayo and you see the artworks of the local artists, mga contemporary art. Tapos ano pa?
Ayos, na-explain mo naman kanina kung ano yung mga ginagawa dyan eh. So, I'm sure...
Yeah. Punta lang sila dito.
Take it from me,
Free to
guys.
observe sila.
Take it from me, guys. Super cool nung studio ni Alfred. And if you're an art person, talagang may in love ka sa studio nila. And parang gusto mong tumira dyan.
Next podcast, pwede tayo mag-studio tour.
Alright. Sige. Ayos. That's it muna. Alfred, maraming salamat sa iyo.
Thank you din,
yeah.
Thank you.
And again, sa mga this show is dedicated to our frontliners right now. We are with you in thought, and we hope for the best, and we thank you for your service and your sacrifice. Yun, ayos.
Alright.
Maraming salamat. Powerful
Good
Komiksman.
night, everybody.
Good night, Powerful Komiksman podcast. Woo! Baba mo na, Alfred.
Alright.
Goodbye. Good night. Thank you so much. Bye.
Here. Regards daw.
Bye, Jessa.
Bye.